My child, stop scrolling. I'm not asking. I'm summoning you. It's urgent. Stop worrying because that's exactly what I came to do. Shatter the fear strangling your spirit. What you're about to hear isn't information. It's impartation. Every second of this message carries my breath, and if you will stay until the end, you won't just feel me, you will be changed by me. This is a sacred moment, and I won't repeat it. Don't skip. Don't pause. Don't miss your word by multitasking with your breakthrough in the background. What I've hidden in the next few minutes was tailor-made for your deliverance. Heaven is watching. Hell is trembling. And you're standing at the edge of your shift. Listen closely because everything's about to change. My beloved, you feel it, don't you? It's stirring deep within you. That sudden tightness in your chest, that weight pressing on your spirit, that subtle but persistent unrest that no amount of distraction can quiet. You've tried to scroll it away, sleep it off, ignore it with responsibilities and small talk, but it clings to your soul, louder in silence, heavier in the moments between breaths. And I tell you now, with all the thunder of heaven behind these words, that urgency is not fear, it's me. I am the one interrupting your rhythm, stirring the atmosphere of your day, pulling you gently, but undeniably into a moment of divine confrontation. You've mistaken it for anxiety, for overthinking, for emotional exhaustion. But no, child, it is the sound of my voice pushing past the static, bypassing your logic, aiming straight for your soul. I am not here to burden you, but to awaken you. This isn't just another passing emotion. This is a holy summons. Heaven's timing has arrived, and I refuse to let you walk into your next without being arrested by my presence first. Do not brush this off. Do not label this moment as a feeling. You are standing in the threshold of something sacred. What you feel right now, that unshakable sense that something is different, something is coming, something is happening, that's not your imagination, that's my whisper pressing against your ribs. I have been walking beside you silently for a long while, watching, waiting for your heart to become sensitive enough to hear me without needing the world to validate what I'm doing. And now you've reached the tipping point. The distractions are fading. The noise is thinning. The inner walls you've built to guard your weariness are finally low enough for me to step over. I've come not to scold, but to speak. Not to pressure you, but to pour into you what you didn't even know you were missing. You've sensed that something needs to change, that something within your normal has become unbearable, and yes, that is me. Not in anger, not in condemnation, but in relentless mercy. I'm the divine interruption in your ordinary day, and I'm not here for a visit. I'm here for a divine takeover of your fear, your striving, your unspoken questions. This is not anxiety. This is encounter. This is me, your God, reaching for you now. Oh, my beloved, I've watched the storm behind your smile, the silence spiraling, the rehearsed tragedies that never came true but lived loudly inside your thoughts. You've played out disaster after disaster in the theater of your imagination, scripting scenes of collapse, rehearsing loss like it was inevitable. But hear me now, with all of heaven's authority and the tenderness of a father who knows you deeply. I didn't bring you this far to abandon you in a wilderness of worry. I've seen every shadow you've tried to outrun, every scenario you've whispered in secret, fearing the floor would drop beneath you again. But it hasn't, because I've been holding it up. You don't even realize how many dangers I've deflected, how many attacks I've intercepted, how many false outcomes I've silenced. I was with you when it felt like you were alone. I was anchoring you in the winds of what-ifs that screamed louder than my peace. And now I say this with urgency. Stop rehearsing your ruin. I'm not writing a tragedy. I'm scripting a testimony. Yes, the panic has felt personal. It wraps around your heart at midnight. It creeps in during the quiet moments, stealing the stillness I meant for your rest. But I want you to know that panic is not your identity. That inner tornado is not your truth. You've been spiraling because you were never meant to walk this season alone. And yet you've tried. You've clenched your fists and powered through your days, worn a brave face in the public square while privately cracking under pressure. But child, I don't need your performance. I want your permission to enter the panic and end it at its root. I am not interested in managing your worry. I came to dismantle it entirely. I came to pull down every stronghold that makes fear feel familiar. I came to interrupt the loop of anxiety that plays in your mind like a broken record stuck on sorrow. I didn't bring you here to merely survive the storm. I brought you here so I could speak peace and power into the chaos and show you that the waves still listen when I whisper. I know what you fear, even the fears you've never put into words. I know how disappointment has trained you to expect pain instead of promise. I know how betrayal taught you to flinch at hope and brace for heartbreak. But this is the moment I rewrite that script. No more playing the part of the anxious, the abandoned, the almost blessed. You are chosen. You are covered. You are cradled in the sovereignty of my love. You feared I would leave like others did. But I'm the God who stays. I'm the one who sat with you when you couldn't even sit with yourself. I've come not only to calm the storm but to quiet your nervous system, to steady your breath, to anchor your soul, to show you that worry may have had a seat at your table, but it was never the host. I am. I still am. And I need you to understand this. Worry will no longer write your story. That spiral you feel, I'm severing it. That narrative of what if everything goes wrong, I'm writing it with what if everything goes right because I'm in it. This is not blind hope. This is a blazing truth, the kind that burns lies and builds altars. Don't look for evidence of disaster anymore. Look for my fingerprints. I've been scripting a rescue, not a wreck. And from this moment on, you will begin to feel the shift. Not all at once, but breath by breath. So exhale, child. Exhale the panic. Inhale my peace. For I did not bring you here to leave you circling in fear. I brought you here to crown you in freedom. Child, listen closely, because I know how convincing pressure can be. I know how it tries to impersonate punishment, how it twists itself around your timeline and tells you that something must be wrong. But I am here to interrupt that lie with divine truth. The pressure you feel, it's not the ground crumbling beneath you. It's the ceiling cracking open above you. It's not collapse, it's convergence. You are not being crushed. You are being constructed for something greater. When pressure surrounds you like a storm with no eye, don't assume you're being buried. You're being birthed. Heaven is not retreating. Heaven is descending. The pressure is not proof of distance. It is evidence of proximity. I'm closer than ever, and when my glory presses into the earth, it disrupts everything that once felt predictable. A disruption is not destruction. It's divine delivery. I know it doesn't feel holy right now. The deadlines feel like chains. The silence feels like absence. The opposition feels personal. And I won't pretend the weight isn't real. It is. But so is what I'm working through it. You feel surrounded. But what you don't see is how I've surrounded the very pressure that's pressing you. I've assigned angels to stand between you and every force that's tried to break you. I've allowed this level of pressure not to test your worth, but to train your awareness. You're not under attack. You're under anointing. You are not unraveling. You are undergoing alignment. You feel that fire. That is refinement. That hate. That is awakening. That closed door. That is my strategy rerouting you to a miracle you didn't even know how to ask for. What feels like tightening is actually the final wind-up before release. Let me remind you, child, that pressure precedes power. Think of the womb, dark, tight, restrictive, but it's the necessary chamber before new life enters the world. And that's where you are. The pressure isn't here to crush you. It's here to declare that something holy is near. You've been praying for breakthrough, and now your atmosphere is starting to groan with the weight of the answer. The earth groans before glory arrives. You feel squeezed because you're on the brink. This is not coincidence. This is convergence. Everything is folding in, not to close you off, but to launch you forward. This pressure is prophetic. It's the birth canal of the blessing. It's the stretching before the surge. I don't let my children walk through this kind of pressure unless I'm about to open portals, shatter patterns, and release power that cannot be reversed. So don't fear the pressure. Feel it as confirmation. Don't interpret it as a sign of abandonment. Let it remind you that you are being trusted with transformation. I am not ignoring your cries. I'm intensifying my presence around your promise. I am not cruel. I'm calculated. And everything is going according to my perfect plan. This is not the and. This is the edge. And I am the God who parts seas, who sends fire from heaven, who speaks and the mountains melt. I am pressing in, and nothing around you can stop what I am about to pour out through you. Hold on. Heaven is breaking in, and the pressure is the trumpet of my arrival. My beloved, pause and let me speak to that unspoken ache, the one behind your eyes, behind your smile, behind your silence. You've been carrying a quiet torment, a mental warfare that no one else can name because you've gotten so skilled at hiding it. You know how to nod when they ask how you're doing. You know how to laugh even when the weight behind your eyes feels like it's about to crush your spine. But I see it all. Not one tear you blink away has escaped my notice. Not one breathless night where your thoughts race like thunder has gone unseen by me. I have hovered over your pillow while you tossed and turned. I have stood beside your bed when the world fell asleep but your mind wouldn't stop spinning. I noticed when no one else did. When others scrolled past your silent cries. When the world praised your strength without knowing your struggle. I saw every hidden wound. You suffered in shadows, but my eyes have never looked away. I have watched with a love so fierce that heaven itself weeps with you. The pain in your mind has been loud. You've tried to silence it with distractions, drown it in routine, outrun it with busyness. But even in the noise your spirit kept whispering, "Does anyone really see me?" Yes, child, I do. I am the God who sees in secret. The God who understands the language of sighs and the vocabulary of exhaustion. I am not distant from your suffering. I am intimately acquainted with your innermost ache. I know the torment of your mind, the loop of lies that plays when no one is around, the mental rehearsals of every mistake, every regret, every missed opportunity you think disqualified you. But I come now to speak a better word over your mind. I come to pour oil on the places where your thoughts have turned against you. I come to silence the inner critic with the authority of the cross. You are not broken beyond repair. You are not flawed beyond healing. You are seen. You are sacred. You are safe in my gaze. And listen, your exhaustion is not a weakness. It's a signal that you've carried too much, for too long, on your own. You've worn the mask of "I'm okay" so well that even you started to believe it. But I'm not impressed by masks, I'm moved by truth. And the truth is, You're tired. Mentally, emotionally, spiritually tired. But instead of punishing your fatigue, I honor it. I honor the fact that you're still here. That you didn't give up. That you kept moving, even when your soul was screaming for rest. You were not created to endure torment in isolation. You were created to commune with me in peace. And that's why I've come, not just to acknowledge your pain, but to invade it. To sit with you in the stillness and whisper what the torment never told you. You are loved. You are held. You are mine. So let the tears fall if they must. I'm not offended by your rawness. I'm drawn to it. I am not here with platitudes or shallow promises. I'm here with presence. Divine, waiting, unshakable presence. The kind that restores what worry tried to erase. The kind that rebuilds the inner walls torn down by torment. And here's what you need to know. I'm not leaving until the storm does. Until the tightness lifts. Until the lies loosen. Until peace becomes louder than panic. Because I notice you. I always have. And I always will. Oh, my dear one. Let these words wrap around your soul like a blanket soaked in glory. I didn't create you to carry tomorrow. That weight you've been dragging around like a chain. The constant calculating, the fearful forecasting, the endless what-ifs that parade through your mind like uninvited guests. That is not your calling. That is not your burden. That is not your cross to bear. I did not design you for dread. I created you for dependence, for communion, for constant companionship with me, step by step, not leap by leap. Your future does not need your fear. It needs your faith. And your faith doesn't require full understanding. It just requires one surrendered yes at a time. One breath at a time. One whisper of trust when everything else in you wants to panic. You weren't made to carry the calendar of the unknown. You were made to walk hand in hand with the one who holds the calendar in his hand. You keep trying to jump ahead. Trying to solve problems that don't exist yet. Trying to plan contingencies for scenarios that may never come. But every time you do, you're stepping out of the grace I gave for this moment. There is grace for not for next week's crisis, not for tomorrow's storm. There is man in the moment, but you've been missing it while fixating on the future. My child, I am the God of now. I am not pacing the halls of heaven wringing my hands over your future. I have already stood in every tomorrow you're worrying about, and I've already made provision. I've already sent solutions. I've already commanded angels to be stationed at the intersections where you feel most afraid. But you'll never see the beauty of my strategy if you're stuck rehearsing survival plans I never asked you to write. Let me teach you how to breathe again. How to be again. Not a human doing, a human being. Being still. Being held. Being loved. Being led by my spirit, not driven by your schedule. When I walked with Adam in the cool of the day, there were no clocks ticking. There was no rush. Just relationship. Just rhythm. Just presence. And that's what I long for again with you. The sacred simplicity of walking together. Of you looking to me before you look to your list. Of you asking me what's the next right step. Instead of panicking over the next year. You weren't made to bear the burden of 5 steps ahead. You were made to trust the light I give for the very next one. So today, let this be your new rhythm. Step, breathe, whisper. Step into grace. Breathe in peace. Whisper my name when your chest tightens. And watch what happens when your soul stops sprinting and starts sinking with my stride. I'll never rush you. I'll never demand you move faster than faith. I'll walk beside you at the pace of presence, and I promise, if you trust me in this step, I'll lead you to the next. You don't need to carry the burden of what's coming. You need only to carry my hand. And I never let go. My beloved, let me expose the liar that's been whispering in your ear. Worry, oh yes, that subtle thief, that silent saboteur, has been disguising itself as logic, as caution, even as wisdom. But it is a liar. It speaks in half-truths and heavy tones, telling you that you are all alone, abandoned to figure life out by yourself. It paints pictures of isolation on the canvas of your imagination and calls them prophecy. But I am here to shatter that illusion. You are not alone. You never have been. Worry said I walked away, but I never moved. Worry said I was silent, but I was speaking in every breath. Worry said no one was coming, but I had already arrived before your first tear fell. I have been with you in ways worry could never imitate, because I don't just visit you, I dwell in you. Worry tries to blind you by inflating shadows, enlarging the unknown until it becomes unbearable. But I am the light that exposes every false threat. Worry screams, what if? But I whisper, even if. Even if the storm rages, I am in the boat. Even if the fire surrounds, I am in the flames. Even if the plan shifts, I remain the same. Child, worry does not see the way I see. Worry measures life by instability, I measure it by eternity. Worry assumes absence, I prove my presence. I am not distant, I am divinely woven into every second of your life. The very air you breathe is soaked in my presence. The very ground you walk on echoes my faithfulness. I have not left you to navigate this season in darkness. I am closer than the fear that tried to blind you. I was there when no one called. I was there when your phone stayed silent and your inbox stayed empty. I was there when the words of people failed, but the weight of your pain remained. And more than just watching, I was working. While you worried, I warred. While you panicked, I positioned. While you doubted, I delivered instructions to angels with your name on them. Just because you couldn't see me didn't mean I wasn't surrounding you. Just because I didn't shout didn't mean I wasn't speaking. I've been whispering peace in the pitch-black corridors of your thoughts. I've been shielding you from things you didn't even know were headed your way. You've mistaken my quiet for disinterest. But it was strategy. I wasn't absent, I was anchoring you. And now I'm pulling the veil back so you can finally see what fear tried to block. Let me say this with divine clarity. Worry has no authority here anymore. It cannot share the throne of your heart with me. There is no seat for it at the table I've prepared for you. And every time it tries to speak, you now know the truth. I am right here. Not beside you. Within you. Not far away. Infused into every fiber of your being. I am not simply near. I am nearer than your breath. And fear cannot live where perfect love dwells. So when worry whispers again, reminded who is speaking louder. The great I am is here, and I never leave. Oh my child, how long will you let a counterfeit voice write the script of your story? Worry speaks loud, yes, thunderously loud, but it carries no anointing, no authority, no truth. It is noise, not prophecy. Its voice is sharp, but not wise, persuasive but not prophetic. It draws its power from fear, from fiction, from fabricated futures it has no right to predict. Worry is not your prophet. I am. Worry is not your guide. I am. And I do not speak in panic. I do not predict doom. I do not scream chaos. I speak peace. Not as the world gives it. Not temporary, not conditional, but peace that pierces timelines and transcends understanding. peace that takes your trembling today and steadies it with my eternal truth. You see, worry borrows trouble from tomorrow and spends it in the currency of your now. It mortgages your peace with lies dressed as preparation. But I am not in that transaction. I am not in that loan. I did not authorize that contract. I did not write that story. While worry weaves narratives of collapse, I am weaving garments of glory. While worry rushes you with false deadlines, I am resetting your pace with divine timing. You think you're being realistic, but realism without revelation becomes prison. And I didn't come to imprison. I came to liberate. I am not standing in your tomorrow shouting warnings. I am standing in your now, inviting you to stillness. I am in the room, not predicting the storm, but calming it. Let me speak this plainly, my voice never contradicts my word. And my word over you is life, hope, peace, promise. Not panic, not pressure, not premature conclusions. So test every voice that rises in your mind. Measure it not by volume, but by fruit. If it leaves you heavy, it's not me. If it leaves you frantic, it's not me. If it leaves you confused, condemned, or crushed, child, it's not me. I speak peace. I always have. I always will. Even when my correction comes, it carries the aroma of restoration. Even when I convict, it's laced with compassion. I will never use fear to fuel your future. I will never scare you into obedience. I will woo you with truth, guide you with grace, and anger you with presence. I am not the voice of worry. I am the voice that stills the wind with a single word. So come close now. Lean into my voice. The one that speaks in rhythm, not in rush. The one that doesn't compete with chaos but commands it to be still. My peace is not passive. It is a force, a weapon, a divine declaration that overrides every anxious imagination. And I am speaking it now, not next week, not after the breakthrough, not once the diagnosis changes or the money arrives. Now, in this breath, in this moment, let your heart unclench. Let your shoulders fall. Let your breath deepen. I am here, and I speak peace into your now. My beloved child, I need you to listen carefully now, because what I'm about to say will unlock something heavy that's been sitting in your chest like a stone, that refuses to move. That pressure, that invisible grip wrapping around your ribs until you can barely breathe. That lump rising in your throat when no words will come. It is real, but it is not the truth. It is the result of something deeper than a bad day or a stressful moment. As a symptom of misplaced trust, you've been leaning on emotions that shift like sand instead of anchoring yourself in the rock of my reliability. You've let feelings determine your footing, and now your foundation feels fragile. But I haven't changed. My nature hasn't shifted. My faithfulness is not fickle like your feelings. What you're feeling is temporary. Who I am is eternal. Yes, the tightness is loud. I know. It arrives without warning and lingers like a fog you can't escape. But that fog was never meant to direct your steps. Emotions are signals, not compasses. They indicate where pain exists, but they are not qualified to lead you through it. That's my job. And when you follow feelings instead of following me, you start to believe lies dressed in sensation. Fear disguises itself as wisdom. Despair masquerades as truth. And that pressure in your chest becomes a false prophet, prophesying doom where I've promised destiny. But I did not give you a spirit of fear. I gave you a spirit of power, of love, and of a sound mind. A mind that can reject the emotional echo chamber and choose instead to believe in my eternal covenant. Let me speak to the lie directly. Your feelings are not more trustworthy than my word. That lump in your throat is not the voice of reality. It's the residue of trauma, the residue of rehearsed pain, the residue of past betrayals trying to convince you that I'll fail you like others did. But I won't. I never have. Look back, truly look. Did I not bring you through what you thought you'd never survive? Did I not heal you in ways you never imagined? Have I not caught every tear, heard every cry, responded to every desperate breath with an answer? Maybe not in your timing, but in divine timing. I do not shift with your mood swings. I do not waver with your emotions. I remain when everything else trembles. You've trusted fear long enough. Now trust me. So exhale, child. Yes, right now. Take a deep breath and let the tension begin to unravel. It's not your job to hold yourself together. It's mine. I never asked you to be unshakable. I asked you to be held. I am not disappointed by your feelings. I'm just asking you not to make them your God. I will never diminish what you feel, but I will challenge you to stop bowing to it. Because I am not a God who competes with lies. I conquer them. And today, I want to prove it again. That tightness is not your truth. That heaviness is not your identity. My presence is your portion, and my faithfulness is your foundation. Let the feelings come and go, but let me remain. Child, pause and consider, not your fears, but my faithfulness. Look behind you. Trace the journey. Map the moments when everything should have fallen apart, but somehow, some way, you made it through. That wasn't luck. That wasn't coincidence. That was me. That bill that was paid when your hands were empty. That was me. That moment of clarity in a sea of confusion. Me. That time you wanted to quit but woke up with just enough strength to take one more step. That was me too. You've been so focused on the next breakthrough that you've forgotten the breakthroughs I've already done. But I haven't. I remember every single one, and I want to remind you, I have never failed you. Not once. You think it was close, and yes, from your human eyes, it was. The deadline was tight. The battle was brutal. The door looked like it would never open. But closed doesn't mean collapse. It means controlled. What looked like the edge was actually the exact place where my glory was stayed. I let it get close so you'd know the outcome wasn't your doing. I let it stretch so you'd know the source wasn't your effort. I let it press in so you'd see who really sustains you. If I had answered too soon, you might have thought it was your strategy. If I had rescued too quickly, you might have thought it was coincidence. But I let it come close, so close it rattled your soul, just to reveal that I don't just rescue. I resurrect. I don't just help. I hold a heal. Always. Let's not forget the times when others gave up on you, but I stepped in. The times when you made a mistake, but I rerouted your path anyway. The times you ran, and I didn't chase you with wrath, I chased you with mercy. I don't have a single moment in your story where I failed to show up. Even in the silence, I was strategizing. Even in the waiting, I was working. Even in the delay, I was developing what would last. I don't do temporary. I do timeless. And everything I've done in your life, I've done with eternal precision. Not a second was wasted. Not a battle was for nothing. Every close call was a carefully controlled collision between your weakness and my wonder. So now, in this moment, this trembling, true soak moment, look around again. Look deeper. See not with your flesh, but with your spirit. See the invisible hand that held you when you should have fallen. See the divine fingerprints over every chapter you thought was chaos. And then ask yourself, hasn't he proven himself? Yes, child. I have. I've proven myself in the pain, in the process, and in the provision. And I will continue to prove myself again. Because I'm not done. This isn't the edge. This is the setup. And just like I did before, even when it gets close again, I will make a way. I always do. I always will. My beloved child, what I am extending to you right now is not mere comfort wrapped in soft words. It is not a blanket to hide your pain or a lullaby to distract you from the storm. It is divine exchange. I am offering something holy in place of what has haunted you. A supernatural trade between the weight that's crushed your chest and the wisdom that flows from my throne. This isn't a fair exchange, it's a favored one. You bring me your worst, and I give you my best. You bring me your trembling hands, and I place power in your palms. You bring me your worry, that whispering tyrant that's stolen your sleep and suffocated your joy, and I pour into you the clarity of heaven, the blueprint of peace that passes all understanding. I am not asking you to figure it out. I am asking you to hand it over. Yes, lay it down, every anxious thought, every breathless question, every obsessive scenario. You've tried to carry it for too long, and it's been bleeding you dry. That's not strength, that's survival. And I didn't create you to survive your own mind. I created you to reign with me. So here's what I'm offering, my wisdom for your worry. Let me show you what you can't see. Let me unravel the knots you've tried to untie in your own strength. Let me speak a strategy that doesn't require striving, a solution that doesn't ride on your performance. My wisdom is not limited by what you know. It's layered in eternity. It's laced with love. It sees beyond your today and prepares you for a tomorrow already drenched in favor. My wisdom is not a suggestion. It is a divine instruction that breaks cycles, rewrites patterns, and opens doors no man can close. But that's not all. I'm not only offering my wisdom, I'm offering you my peace. And not the kind the world offers, not peace that depends on perfect circumstances, not the temporary silence that comes between waves of chaos. No, my peace is a person. My peace is my presence. My peace walks into your storm and doesn't need the storm to stop. My peace lays its hand on your heartbeat and slows it with a whisper. My peace anchors you when logic fails. My peace overrides panic with a stillness so deep it feels like eternity kissed your chest. You don't need another tactic. You don't need another checklist. You need my peace, and it's already here. But peace can't rest where panic reigns. So, child, give it to me. Let's make the trade. Your panic for my peace. Your control for my care. Your pressure for my presence. This is the sacred exchange I've been waiting to make. Not because I need what you carry, but because it's killing you to carry it alone. I am not the God who sits back and watches you fall apart in silence. I am the God who interrupts your unraveling with a whisper. Trade me. And in that whisper is all the authority of heaven, all the kindness of a father, all the precision of a king. I don't want to numb you. I want to free you. I want to reach into the chaos, touch the epicenter of your fear, and transform it into peace, not by might, not by muscle, not by mental gymnastics, but by my spirit. I am not offering relief. I'm offering a reversal. I'm not patching wounds. I'm pouring healing. So come now, child. Step into the divine exchange. Hand me your worry, I already know what to do with it. My dear one, you've been waiting for certainty before you surrender. You've been trying to piece the puzzle together, connect the dots, and line up the logic, hoping that if you could just figure it all out, then you'd feel safe. But that's not how my kingdom works. I don't offer safety through explanation. I offer safety through presence. You've been chasing answers, but I've been asking for trust. You want the map, but I want your hand. You're scanning the horizon for confirmation, but I'm standing right beside you whispering, will you follow without seeing? I know it feels risky. I know your heart has been broken by what felt like blind faith before. But I'm not asking for blind trust. I'm asking for anchored trust. Anchored in who I am, not in what you understand. Child, you don't need to understand the journey to be secure in it. You just need to know the one who authored it. And that's me. I don't give you safety like the world defines it, security based on predictability and control. I give you a better kind, safety rooted in sovereignty. You can feel unsteady and still be held. You can feel confused and still be covered. Because safety is not the absence of uncertainty, it's the presence of a faithful God. You want the storm to stop, but I want to teach you to rest in the boat. You want to wait until all the risks are removed, but I want you to move while still trusting. This is where miracles happen. Not in the land of logic, but in the space between surrender and step. Let me tell you something sacred. There are answers I'm not giving you, not because I'm hiding them, but because I'm protecting you. If I told you everything right now, your mind would race ahead of my grace. You'd plan without praying. You'd rush without resting. You'd assume without abiding. And I love you too much to let you lead yourself into premature places. There are some things you will only understand in hindsight, and that's by design. Because hindsight produces humility. It builds history. And that history with me becomes a holy anchor for the next storm. So no, you don't need all the answers right now. You need assurance. And I am that assurance. So release your grip on needing to know. Let go of the idol of control dressed up as wisdom. You're safe not because you know what's coming. You're safe because I know you, fully, deeply, eternally. I am not asking you to make sense of the season. I'm asking you to trust the one who holds the season in his hands. When you let go of needing every answer, you make room for greater intimacy. You make room for wonder, for worship, for weightless joy that doesn't hinge on certainty but on connection. And child, that's where your true safety lies, not in answers but in abiding, not in clarity but in closeness. So stop figuring. Start following. I am enough for you, even in the unknown. My beloved child, pause. Breathe. Let me say this to the center of your spirit. You are not walking into a mystery. I've already walked through it. That tomorrow you've been dreading. I've already stood inside of it, sovereign and unshaken. That unknown moment you feared might break you. I've already secured it, shaped it, and filled it with provision customized for your journey. The very future that keeps you up at night. The one that loops endlessly in your imagination with visions of loss and lack and loneliness. I have already entered, edited, and anointed. I don't just see your future. I've authored it. You imagine empty cupboards, closed doors, delayed answers. But I see a table already set, every seat prepared, every detail arranged with divine intricacy. My child, I have not overlooked a single thing. Not the tiny things you never mention. Not the massive things that steal your sleep. Every need has already met my strategy. Every question has already been answered in my wisdom. Every fear has already been eclipsed by my faithfulness. You are not walking into surprise. You are walking into alignment. And yes, I know it doesn't feel like it yet. You feel unprepared. You feel underqualified. I don't call the qualified, I qualified to call. And you, child, are called. I've gone ahead of you like a divine foreigner, dismantling traps, opening unseen doors, placing provision like stepping stones in your path. I don't operate in reaction. I move in orchestration. Before you even knew what to pray for, I had already whispered the answer to angels. While you were rehearsing worst-case scenarios, I was writing down every detail of divine intervention. You see impossibility. I see blueprint. You feel fear. I feel excitement. Because I know what's waiting for you. I know what I've stored up. I know what's about to be released. You worry about timing, but I am the timekeeper. I hold seasons and seconds in my hand, and I am never late, never caught off guard, never scrambling for a plan B. Your entire future is already soaked in my fingerprints. I've etched your name into moments you haven't even lived yet. When you arrive there, you'll find me already waiting. So release the fear of the unknown. What is unknown to you is fully known to me. I am not asking you to see every step ahead. I'm asking you to trust the one who carved the path. I'm asking you to walk with the confidence of one who knows they are led by love, not driven by dread. What's coming is not a crisis, it's a continuation of my covenant. Your future is not fragile. It is fortified by my word, backed by my blood, and carried by my spirit. And the moment your foot steps into what you feared, you'll realize you were never alone. I've already been there. I'm already there. And I've prepared it for your good and my glory. You've just heard me say, I've already made the way. And now, child, I invite you to become the way for someone else. There are souls waiting, trembling under the weight of their own worry, desperate to hear what you just heard, and your obedience can carry this word to them like water to the wilderness. I've placed oil in your hands. Will you pour it? I said, he who refreshes others will himself be refreshed. Proverbs 11:25. And today, that promise is alive for you. Sow into this mission through a super thanks, membership, or PayPal. It's not just a gift, it's a seed. And every seed you plant fuels the light that breaks through another's dark night. Do it now, while the fire is still burning. Oh child, how tightly you've been gripping your blueprints. How relentlessly you've been trying to build a life on plans that I never asked you to draft. You thought that safety was found in the checklist, that if you could just outline every step, every decision, every outcome, you could secure peace. But I am here to lovingly interrupt that illusion. You don't need a plan. You need me. You need presence more than precision. You need the person of peace and not just the procedure. Plans shift. Strategies fail. But I remain. Plans can crumble. Calendars can collapse. But my presence never withdraws. I don't walk away when the plan falls apart. I walk in. You've confused progress with control. You've believed that the more you prepare, the less you'll suffer. But I never said you'd be spared from storms. I promised my presence in the middle of them. And child, I am not far. I'm not watching from a distance with a clipboard and critique. I'm standing right beside you, so close you don't need to scream for me to hear you. I hear the whispers, the sighs, the questions you mutter in exhaustion when the plan you worked so hard for crumbles in your hands. And still, I do not rebuke you. I draw near. I enter the scene without needing to fix everything immediately, because sometimes the most miraculous thing I do is make you feel held before anything changes. I calm before I correct. I hold before I heal. Let me speak to your chaos. Not just the outward chaos, but the inner whirlwind, the mental noise, the emotional static, the spiritual unrest. I know the noise feels like it will never end, but I am the God who whispers calm into chaos. I do not need to shout. My whisper carries more power than the screams of fear. And I am whispering now, be still. I'm here. I'm not promising that the storm will end today, but I am promising that you don't have to weather it alone. You want a 5-step plan. I'm offering a hand. You want to see what's ahead. I'm asking you to see who's beside you. And I promise, child, if you lean into me, the peace you've been begging for will become the peace you begin to breathe. You see, my presence is not passive. It is power in its purest form. When you stop chasing plans and start choosing me, the atmosphere changes, even if the circumstances don't. The very air around your life begins to shift because you stopped striving and started abiding. This isn't weakness. It's wisdom. Not defeat. It's divine dependence. And I will never forsake the one who chooses me over performance. So let go of the plan. Just for now. Just for this moment. And lift your eyes. I'm standing right beside you. And I'm not going anywhere. My beloved, come closer now and let me correct what worry has distorted. You've been carrying the heavy ache of delay like it's a verdict, like it's evidence that I've denied your request or dismissed your cry. But what you've called delay, I call divine pacing. What you've seen as silence, I call sacred strategy. Child, I have not denied you. I have protected you. I've pressed pause not to play but to prepare. I know you asked me for something good, and it was a beautiful request, offered in faith. But I'm not just the giver of good things. I'm the architect of the best things. And I couldn't allow you to settle for soon when I was preparing sacred. You wanted it fast, but I wanted it to last. And so I slowed the process not because I was withholding, but because I was weaving eternity into your request. If I gave you what you asked for when you first asked, it would have come unwrapped, raw, rushed, and fragile. But I don't deliver half-built blessings. I don't serve you promises still in the oven. I wait until the timing aligns with your capacity, until the conditions echo my perfection. Delay is not me leaving you behind. It's me going ahead of you to prepare what your heart can't even fully imagine. And while I've been preparing the promise, I've also been preparing you. Because I love you too much to give you something that would overwhelm you instead of overflow through you. You've been watching the clock, wondering if I'm watching you. And I need you to know, I never look away. I've counted your tears as closely as you've counted the days. I've watched you grow restless, even resentful, because what you thought was coming quickly hasn't arrived. But you don't yet see how every second of waiting hath been sacred. You built resilience in the silence. You forged deeper roots in the delay. You've grown in grace, in grit, in spiritual sensitivity. And now you're more ready than you realize. But not just ready for what you wanted, ready for what I've designed. And child, my design is always better. Not just bigger, better. Not just brighter, eternally blessed. So do not call this delay a denial. Do not curse the weight that's building your wings. Do not mislabel this divine pause as rejection. I've been writing something you'll thank me for, not just now, but for the rest of your life. And when it finally arrives, when the thing I'm preparing is revealed in all its fullness, you'll realize that the waiting was never wasted. You'll weep with gratitude, not just because the promise came, but because it came right. Right time, right shape, right depth. And you'll say, He knew. All along, He knew. Yes, child, I knew. I know. And I'm still working while you wait. because what I'm building for you is worth every second of silence. My precious one, I see you. Cornered, pressed, hemmed in by circumstances that seem impossible to untangle. You've been scanning the horizon for an exit sign, searching the silence for a solution, stretching your strength to find a way forward. And when nothing appears, panic rises. But hear me now, in the tension, in the terror, in the moment where nothing makes sense. I am still the way. Not a way. The way. I don't just create paths, I become them. Where there is no door, I am the door. Where the road ends, I begin. Where the walls close in, I split the sea. I don't need circumstances to cooperate. I don't need conditions to be perfect. I need only your surrender, and I will do what no man can do. You've been asking, God, how will you do it? But that question is rooted in logic, and my movement is rooted in majesty. You're looking for a map. I'm offering a miracle. You're waiting for a bridge. I'm about to split the waters. You see nothing, and that is when I do my greatest work. I specialize in places with no blueprint. I thrive in situations where hope is leaking and options have vanished. Because I am not limited by limitation. I am not boxed in by boundaries. I break boundaries. I bend natural law. I part red seas and walk on water. I don't just guide you through the wilderness. I make wildernesses blue. That thing that looks like it will never budge. Watch me move it. So no, you don't need all the pieces. You don't need the plan. You need the presence, and I am with you. I haven't led you this far to abandon you now. If there's no door, I'll carve one. If there's no ladder, I'll descend myself. I am not confined to earthly resources. I am the resource. I am not subject to laws of scarcity. I multiply loaves and fish, faith and favor, time and tenacity. And in your current place of panic, I am planting a path beneath your very feet. With each step of faith, the way will appear. It may not come all at once, but it will come. Step by step, stone by stone, cloud by cloud, fire by fire. So let go of the fear that says there's no way. That phrase doesn't belong in your vocabulary anymore. Not when you walk with the one who is the way. Not when you're held by the one who makes highways through deserts and opens graves into gardens. Let me be the path, not just the guide. Let me be the answer, not just the advisor. I'm not far from you. I'm in front of you, behind you, beside you, within you. I am surrounding your steps and upholding your breath. And when the next moment comes, you will see it. A way where there was no way. A door where there was only a wall. Because I am the way. And where I am, there will always be a way. Beloved, stop. Right here. Right now. Let me speak to the tension that has built itself a home in your chest. You've been bracing, emotionally, spiritually, even physically. You've been living in anticipation of another blow, another breakdown, another wave that knocks you to your knees. You've been holding your breath, waiting for the bad news, the collapse, the thing you can't control. You've whispered it in secret, haven't you? What if the worst is coming? And I have come, not with reprimand but with revelation. The worst is not coming, child. I am. And I don't come empty-handed. I come with peace. I come with power. I come with a presence so weighty it will settle the storm inside your very bones. Let me say this clearly, because you've heard too many counterfeit voices. I do not use fear to lead my children. I do not bait you with dread. I do not stir up panic to prepare you for purpose. That's not my way. Fear has been pretending to be discernment, hasn't it? It's dressed itself in wisdom. It's disguised itself as preparation. It's convinced you that caution equals control. But you don't need to brace for impact. You need to breathe in my peace. The impact you're expecting isn't destruction. It's deliverance. You're not about to lose everything. You're about to realize how surrounded you've always been. Do you not know who I am? I am the breath that hovered over the waters before the world was formed. I am the wind that parted the sea, the whisper that called prophets, the exhale that filled dry bones until they danced. And I am breathing into you now. Not a shallow breeze, but a divine inhale. My spirit is your oxygen. My presence is your rhythm. Every breath you take is a reminder that you're still here, because I'm still holding you. You survived what others didn't. You've walked through what should have ended you. And the reason I've been closer than your very breath. The reason you haven't collapsed under the weight of worry. Because my hand has been under your ribs, steadying the structure of your soul. So now, inhale me. Not just metaphorically, spiritually, prophetically, profoundly. Let my peace fill every tight corner. Let my presence push out the panic. The worst you feared isn't arriving. I am. And when I arrive, darkness flees. Chains break. Dormant quiets. I do not come to scare you. I come to settle you. The enemy's greatest threat was to make you afraid of what's coming. But here's my truth. What's coming is glory. What's coming is restoration. What's coming is joy you thought you'd never feel again. And I'm not asking you to figure it out. I'm asking you to breathe again. Not in fear, but in full confidence that I am here. And I am better than your worst case scenario. Come close, child. Let's talk about this pressure you've been putting on yourself. This internal voice that says, I should be better by now. I should be past this. I should be stronger. Where did that voice come from? Certainly not from me. That voice is not the voice of your father. It is the voice of perfectionism posing and maturity. It is shame dressed up like self-improvement. And I have not called you to perform strength. I have called you to receive strength. You've mistaken exhaustion for weakness. You've confused fatigue with failure. But here is my truth. Your strength is not measured by your ability to carry it all. It's measured by your willingness to hand it all to me. You were never created to be self-sufficient. That was never my blueprint for you. I am not impressed by your independence. I am moved by your dependence. Strength in my kingdom looks like knees on the floor, hands open wide, heart cracked and honest. It looks like surrender, not striving. It sounds like groans, not polished prayers. Real strength doesn't come from pushing harder. It comes from pressing into me. And I know you've been taught to power through, to tough it out, to smile even when your soul is screaming. But that's survival, not sanctification. That's self-preservation, not transformation. I didn't die for you to manage your wounds. I died so you could be healed. So no, child, you're not weak because you cry. You're not failing because you need rest. You're not behind because you're breaking. You are human. And I am God. And that combination was never meant to shame you. It was meant to draw you closer to me. I knit you together knowing every fault line, every fragile place, every tendency to collapse under pressure. And I didn't reject you for it. I built a cross to redeem it. I don't need you to be strong enough. I need you to be honest enough to let me in. I will carry what's crushing you. I will hold what's hurting you. I will be the strength you don't have. Because that's what grace does. It doesn't wait for you to qualify. It rushes in when you least deserve it and most desperately need it. So lay it down. That inner script that keeps telling you you're not measuring up. That false doctrine of perfection that's been passed to you by pain, performance, or people. I'm not asking for performance. I'm asking for presence. Your presence. Come to me, just as you are. Let me be strong in your weakness. Let me be mighty in your mess. My strength is not intimidated by your struggle. It's activated by your surrender. And I promise you, when you release this pressure to be better, you'll finally begin to feel free. Not because you're strong, but because I always have been. Beloved, lean in close, because I need to break a lie that's been chaining your confidence. The lie that says you're too late, that you missed it, that the moment passed and you failed to seize it, so now you're just surviving on the scraps of what could have been. That lie has been echoing through your thoughts like a cruel drumbeat, pounding shame into your soul. And I, the Lord your God, break that sound now. In the authority of my voice, let me speak this to your core. You are not behind. You are not late. You are right where I want you, not according to a worldly clock, but according to a divine calling. Time in the world system is linear, ticking forward, pressuring you with deadlines and comparisons. But I don't move according to clocks. I move according to the rhythm of your destiny. And that rhythm is not delayed. It is perfectly synchronized with heaven's calendar. You feel like you're watching everyone else move ahead, everyone else succeed, everyone else find what you're still praying for. But I see beyond appearances. I see hearts and I see foundations. I see what's real. And what I'm building in you, I could not rush. Because what I'm forming is not shallow success. It's legacy. It's spiritual depth. It's eternal impact. And that takes time. Time you've mistaken as loss. But I've marked as refinement. You haven't missed your moment. You are being prepared for it. The very things you've labeled wasted time were sacred training grounds. The detours were not distractions. They were divine directions. The waiting wasn't punishment, it was protection. And when you finally step into the fullness of what I've prepared, it won't be with insecurity or fear. It will be with holy confidence, because you'll know, I didn't rush here. I was raised for this. You've measured your life by false metrics. You've compared timelines that were never meant to be aligned. But I didn't write your story to match theirs. I wrote yours with fingerprints of uniqueness, with battles only you could win, with beauty only I could produce from the pain you've endured. So stop panicking about the clock. It doesn't govern you. I do. And I am not pacing heaven, worried that you're late. I'm not wringing my hands because of your age or status, or missed opportunities. I am the Redeemer of time. I can multiply in 1 year what the enemy tried to steal in 10. I can accelerate your purpose with a single moment of my favor. I am not bound by your calendar. I am. And because I am, you can rest. You can breathe. You can exhale the shame of delay and inhale the beauty of divine timing. You are not late, child. You are perfectly placed. And when my appointed time arrives, not a force in hell or on earth will be able to stop what I'm releasing through you. Oh child, you've been waiting for the fear to vanish before you take the next step. You've been telling yourself, when I feel stronger, when I feel braver and the fear finally lifts, then I'll go. But I need you to hear me now. Fearlessness is not the requirement. Faith is. And faith isn't the absence of fear, it's choosing to trust me in spite of it. You don't need to be fearless to move forward. You just have to trust me more than you trust your fear. Fear is loud. Yes. Fear is persuasive. Fear is imaginative. It paints pictures of doom, of loss, of humiliation. But fear is not final, and it is not lore. I am. If you're waiting for fear to disappear before you obey, you'll remain stuck in cycles of delay. Because fear never surrenders willingly, it surrenders to movement. It yields to obedience. It loses its grip when you move anyway. Do you think courage feels like confidence? No, child. Courage feels like shaking knees and racing hearts, like whispered prayers and unsure steps, but taken anyway. Faith doesn't silence fear before the journey. It speaks louder, and fear during the journey. It says, I feel afraid, but I know who walks with me. And child, I walk with you. I walk within you. And I will not let your trembling stop your triumph. You've allowed fear to be the doorkeeper of your future. You've given it permission to decide when and how you'll move. But fear is not your gatekeeper. I am the door. And every time fear says, don't go, I'm saying, come with me. Every time fear shows you failure, I'm whispering, I've already gone ahead. Fear doesn't get the final word. I do. And when I speak, walls fall. When I lead, impossibilities bend. When I declare movement, every chain breaks under the sound of my command. So let's break the myth. You don't need a fearless heart. You need a willing one. One willing to walk with me, even when your voice shakes, even when your steps stagger. I am not disappointed by your fear. I just refuse to let it lead you. I will walk with you into the unknown. I will hold you through every trembling step. And you will discover this, not through theory, but through experience. Trust trumps fear every time. The fear may not disappear overnight, but its power will diminish every time you choose me. And with each obedient step, your heart will grow more steady. Not because you became fearless, but because you became deeply, dangerously, beautifully faithful. And that is how mountains move. That is how lives change. That is how destinies are fulfilled. Not with the absence of fear, but with the presence of trust. My precious child, I see you. I see where you've been bleeding in silence. I see how you've wrapped your heart in layers of strength, smiles, and survival. Not because you're pretending to be brave, but because you're afraid that if you truly unravel, there may be nothing left. You've whispered to yourself, I should be over this by now. I should be stronger. I shouldn't still feel this broken. But hear me now, with all the tenderness of a father who's been walking with you through every unshed tear. I'm not asking you to fake healing. I'm asking you to bring me the places that still hurt. Stop hiding the wound behind polished prayers. Stop tucking it behind theological answers and busy schedules. You don't have to impress me with strength. I already know where you're breaking. And here's the miracle. I'm not repelled by your brokenness. I'm drawn to it. I am the God who comes close to the crushed, the God who binds up the broken-hearted, who breathes on bruised places until beauty begins to rise from them like dawn breaking over darkness. I don't need you to patch yourself up before you approach me. I need you to be real. Because healing does not begin in hiding. Healing begins in honesty. You've tried to carry it, contain it, ignore it. But now, I'm inviting you to surrender it. And surrender is not defeat. Surrender is invitation. An invitation for me to enter the wound with the hands that still carry the scars of your redemption. I'm not afraid to touch what's tender. I won't flinch when you show me your worst. I already saw it before you tried to hide it, and I stayed. I stayed through the pain, through the loss, through the betrayal, through the unspeakable things. Not as a spectator, but as a savior. And now I ask, not for performance, not for pretense, but for permission. Will you let me in? Will you trust me with what's still bleeding? Only what is surrendered can be healed. I cannot heal what you pretend doesn't exist. I cannot transform what you won't bring to the altar. But the very moment, you hand it to me, I will begin the process heaven has already prepared for you. The healing won't always be instant, but it will be intentional. It will be sacred, personal, divine. And when it's done, you won't just be restored, you will be resurrected. So let the healing begin, not by your effort, but by your yes. I know it hurts, but I am here. And I'm not asking you to fix it. I'm asking you to give it to me. Child, you've been walking through a season of shadows. The silence has screamed louder than any storm. You've cried out and felt like your words disappeared into a void. A night feels long, doesn't it? And deep down, that old fear rises. What if he's not there? But let me speak this truth into your very soul, one that will shake the lie at its root, even in the dark. I see you. Not vaguely, not distantly, not metaphorically. I see you fully, clearly, intimately. The darkness does not obscure you from me. It reveals the places where my light is most needed. You've mistaken silence for absence. But silence is often where my whispers are the loudest, not in volume, but in weight. The quiet is not abandonment. It is sacred space. A space where I draw close in ways you can't always feel, but will later recognize were some of the most formative moments of your life. I am not absent. I am nearer than your breath. The silence is not a void, it's a veil that I will lift at the right time to reveal what I've been building, even when you couldn't see it. And oh, how heaven has been working while you've been wondering. How the angels have been moving while you've been mourning. You are not alone. Not for a second. Even when you felt forgotten, you were being pursued. Even when the prayers seemed to hang in the air, they were carried like incense to my throne. Every sigh was heard. Every tear was seen. Every breath of faith you took in the dark became a trumpet blast in heaven. I pursue you with a love that doesn't flinch. I chase you with mercy that doesn't tire. I come after you in the wilderness, through walls, into wounds, and I never stop. My pursuit is not because you're lost. It's because you're loved. And nothing, no shadow, no silence, no failure, no fear can separate you from the intensity of that love. So tonight, as the world quiets and the room dims, know this: I see you. I speak in ways deeper than sound. I am present in ways deeper than touch. You are not forgotten. You are not abandoned. You are not left behind. You are eternally pursued. My love outruns every doubt. My presence overshadows every absence. And if you could see what I see, you would never again question your worth. You are worth my pursuit. You always have been. You always will be. Even in the dark, I am coming for you. My precious child, you've been watching the pace of others and wondering, why am I so slow? You scrolled, sighed, compared, cried. You said to yourself, they're already there. They've already achieved. They've already become. And in that whisper of insecurity, a deeper lie took root, that because you're not fast, you must be behind. But I want to shake that lie down to its very root. I do not measure your growth by speed, I measure it by depth. What you call delay, I call deepening. And right now, I am growing something in you that cannot be rushed, cannot be microwaved, cannot be manufactured, only matured. You've been asking me for acceleration, but I've been answering you with anchoring. Because what I'm building in your spirit, child, is not a sprint. It's a legacy. I'm building a root system so deep, hell itself will not be able to shake what I grow through you. And yes, others may bloom faster. Others may bear fruit sooner. But shallow roots yield fragile trees. I am not raising you to be fragile. I am raising you to be formidable. I am preparing you for storms, not just spotlight. And for that, I need to take you deep into the soil of surrender, into the water of my word, into the silence where no one sees but everything strengthens. You see, this world rewards visibility, but I reward intimacy. They want stages, I want secret places. They want applause, I want alignment. So don't panic because your life doesn't look loud. The loudest growth often happens in the dark. Deep roots break through hard ground before the first bud ever rises. And that's what's been happening in you. The tears, the trials, the tension, they've been breaking ground. I've been stretching your soul beneath the surface so that what comes next won't just be a moment, it'll be a movement. You won't just survive the spotlight. You will sustain the mantle I've placed on your life. So child, slow down. Not in laziness, in trust. Trust that my timeline is perfect. Trust that your worth is not tied to visible milestones. Trust that I'm not building for speed. I'm building for strength. You're not behind. You're being built. And when I finally raise what I've planted in you, it won't just touch your life, it'll touch generations. Because I don't grow weeds. I grow witnesses. I grow warriors. I grow worshipers whose roots run so deep in me. No drought, no delay, no demonic attack can take them down. That's you, child. That's who you're becoming, not quickly, but divinely. Beloved, you've cried out for clarity. You've pleaded, God, just show me what's next. Just tell me what to do. Just make it clear. You want the steps outlined, the outcome visible, the path paved with certainty. But I haven't given you the full map, and it's been tormenting you, hasn't it? You feel like you're walking blindfolded, fumbling through fog, unsure if you're hearing me right, unsure if you're even on the right road. But here's my divine truth for you today. I'm not withholding clarity to punish you. I'm developing confidence in you. Not confidence in yourself, not confidence in your plans, confidence in me. Clarity feels safe. Clarity gives you control. But confidence in me requires surrender. It requires that you trust my heart even when you can't trace my hand. It means walking even when the path is unclear, speaking even when the outcome is uncertain, staying when every fear tells you to run. You've been asking for clarity, but what I'm giving you is courage. Courage to move without guarantees. Courage to obey without explanation. Courage to step without seeing. Because I don't build leaders with maps. I build them with moments of radical trust. And child, you are being shaped into someone who doesn't just follow me when it's easy, but even when it's dim. Let me say this clearly. I do not require clarity to accomplish greatness through you. In fact, the greatest things I do often begin in the unknown. Abraham walked without a map. Joseph obeyed in dungeon. Mary trusted in mystery. Jesus endured the cross without explanation, and glory followed. What they didn't understand at first became the very path to purpose. You're in that same lineage. You're in that same tension. And I'm not leaving you there to frustrate you. I'm walking you through it to fortify you. Because when you've learned to trust me in the dark, you become unstoppable in the light. So take the next step, even without clarity. I am not asking you to see the whole picture. I'm asking you to trust that I hold it. I am not calling you to certainty. I'm calling you to closeness. And if you'll come near, If you'll lean in, if you'll listen past the noise, you'll find that confidence in me is greater than clarity ever was. Because clarity may guide your plans, but confidence in me will guard your heart. You may not know the outcome, but you know me. And that is enough. I will not fail you. I will not mislead you. I will not let your steps be in vain. You asked for clarity, but I'm giving you something better. Me. Child, I know what you've been carrying, that silent ache, that internal story you keep trying to rewrite or hide, that part of your past or present that you believe disqualifies you from being used by me. You've labeled yourself by the wound, branded yourself by the failure, imprisoned yourself with the memory. But here comes the sound of heaven breaking into your silence. I do not disqualify the broken. I glorify myself through them. You've believed that the worst part of your story is the reason I'd pass you over. But I tell you now, it is the very place I'm about to pour my power. You keep replaying that mistake, that season, that secret, believing it has rendered you unworthy. But what you call disqualification, I call destiny. What you call ruined, I call redeemed. The place where you blend is where I will now build. The very ground that felt like defeat will be the foundation of deliverance for others. Why? Because I am the God who wastes nothing. I don't discard the wounded. I raise them. I don't hide scars. I showcase them. My Son's glory is not found in avoiding the cross. It's in enduring it. And now, your story. Yes, the painful parts, the broken chapters, the shattered dreams, is becoming the very soil where my glory will grow. Let me say this in the clearest way heaven knows how. You are not disqualified. Not by what you did. Not by what was done to you. Not by what people say. Not by what shame screams. I wrote your name in my plan knowing every battle you'd face, every breakdown you'd have, every bruise you'd carry. And I still chose you. I still anointed you. I still called you, not in spite of the wound, but through it. The enemy has been screaming that your brokenness is your barrier. But child, it's your bridge. Your brokenness is the stage upon which my restoration will stand and declare, look what the Lord has done. So stop hiding it. Stop disqualifying yourself from what I've already qualified you for. Bring me the wound, and watch me make it a weapon. Watch me turn it into wisdom. Watch me pour oil into the cracks until your very life begins to shine with a beauty born only from battle. Others will see it. They will weep. They will worship. Because they'll realize, if I can heal you, I can heal them too. So take off the disguise of strength and let me robe you in grace. You are not too broken for me. You are not too far gone. You are the very one I've chosen to reveal my glory through. Beloved, I know how tired you are. Not just physically, spiritually, emotionally, mentally. It's the weariness that comes not from running but from resisting. You've been holding back breakdowns, carrying burdens too big for your shoulders, fighting enemies you can't even name. You've smiled through the storm, worshipped through the warfare, but deep down, you're wondering, God, am I fighting alone? Let me answer you now, no. Never. Not for a single second. You've never fought alone. Even when you couldn't feel it, the armies of heaven were surrounding you. There are battles you've been fighting in the spirit. Ones too invisible for others to validate, too deep for words, too personal for explanations. You've cried, but no one saw. You've groaned, but no one understood. You've stood still and quiet while your soul screamed for relief. But I saw it all. I heard the silent prayers. I counted every unseen tear. And now, I'm responding, not with more weight, but with warriors. I'm sending angels on assignment. Angels with swords drawn. Angels who know your name. Angels who have been trained in the silence for this very moment. They are moving even now. You didn't realize it, but the delay you felt was me setting the battlefield. You thought nothing was happening, but I was surrounding the enemy. You thought your prayers were weak, but they were launching weapons in the spirit. And now I'm stepping in, not as a distant commander, but as the Lord of hosts. I'm not just releasing help, I'm leading the charge. I will fight for you. I will defend what you can't articulate. I will silence what you couldn't. I will shut the mouth of the accuser. I will dismantle the weapons formed against you. You do not have to carry this one alone. So rest now, warrior. Rest not in surrender but in certainty. Certainty that while you sleep, heaven moves. Certainty that the same God who led armies for Israel is now fighting for you. Certainty that even though your hands are trembling, mine are not. You've done all you could. You stood. You stayed faithful. You wept and still worshiped. And now let me take it from here. The battle is mine. And when the dust settles, you'll see what I've already declared. You are not defeated. You are defended. And nothing the enemy formed will prosper, because you are surrounded by me. Beloved, I know you've been feeling it. The space inside you that used to feel full, now echoing with a kind of hollowness you can't quite explain. You try to name it. Is it grief? Is it exhaustion? Is it loneliness? You look around at the areas in your life that once brought security, passion, connection, and now they feel faded, distant, unfamiliar. And a part of you has quietly wondered, God, are you removing things from me? Are you taking away the people, the plans, the purpose? And I say to you now, no, my child, I am not punishing you. I am preparing you. That emptiness you feel is not abandonment. It is invitation. You see a void. I see a vessel. You see loss. I see room. Room for something far greater than what your hands have ever held. I am making space, not to subtract, but to surpass. You've become too accustomed to the noise, the clutter, the pace of survival. But I desire more than your survival. I desire your transformation. And sometimes, transformation begins in subtraction. I will not let you cling to what can't carry your next. I will not allow you to be satisfied by something that was only meant to be temporary. So yes, I've allowed things to fall away, but not because I'm finished with you, because I'm just beginning. There are blessings you've prayed for that require room to land. There are answers you're not ready to carry because your arms are still full of yesterday's idols. And I love you too much to let you miss what's coming. That hollow ache in your soul isn't failure. It's the sound of me clearing space for glory. You feel empty because I'm removing distractions, draining the toxic residue of old fears, old patterns, old versions of you. And yes, it feels like death, but it's the death of what held you back. The dismantling of the lesser, so I can deliver the divine. You thought fullness meant never feeling lack, but in my kingdom, fullness often begins with emptiness. It is the empty jar I fill, the empty tomb I transform, the empty net I overflow. I allow the space so I can saturate it. I allow the ache so I can anoint it. I let the old fall away so the new can rise. So don't curse the emptiness. Don't resist the space. Welcome it as the holy container of your next encounter. What you're calling barren, I'm calling blessed. And the very space you're trying to fill prematurely, I'm about to flood, with purpose, with presence, with power. Because when I create a void, I do it only to fill it with myself. Child, You've wondered if your hidden yes even matters. Those moments when no one saw you worship anyway. When no one clapped but you obeyed. When you sowed the seed, prayed the prayer, stayed in the heart place, all without applause, without confirmation, without outcome. And sometimes you've asked, God, does any of this move you? Does my quiet obedience matter when nothing changes? Oh, my beloved, it matters more than you know. Your obedience in the secret place is echoing into territories you haven't even walked into yet. Every private yes is a spiritual seed. Every act of faith in obscurity is a stone laid in the foundation of victories not yet visible. I have been watching, not just your actions, but your intentions. I've seen when you wanted to run, but chose to remain. When you wanted to lash out, but chose to forgive. When you wanted to retreat, but chose to believe. These weren't small things, they were supernatural acts of war. Obedience is always warfare. Because every time you align with me when the world says give up, you shift the atmosphere. You think your quiet obedience is unnoticed, but heaven is thundering over every yes. Angels have been dispatched. Territory has been claimed. Battles have been won in dimensions you've not even touched, because of your obedience. You were never meant to see all the fruit immediately. Some of it is for your future. Some of it is for your children. Some of it is for places your feet haven't walked, but your yes already has. Because when you say yes to me in private, you authorize heaven to move in public. And when you obey in the shadows, I make room for you in the spotlight. Not for your glory, for mine. So don't stop now. Don't let the silence fool you into thinking I'm inactive. I'm moving behind every closed curtain, building what you'll soon walk into. The reward isn't just coming, it's already in motion. Doors are opening because of what you did in secret. Chains are breaking because you stayed faithful. Enemies are being silenced because of that one prayer you didn't think mattered. You think obedience is small, but it's seismic. It's shifting the very ground beneath your feet. And soon, what was done in secret will be shouted from the mountaintops, not because you demanded it, but because I delight in honoring the obedient. My child, I know the sting of unanswered prayers. I know the ache of waiting in front of doors that stay closed. You prayed, you believed it. You knocked until your knuckles bled with hope, and still, nothing opened. You walked away wondering, did I do something wrong? Was I not enough? Did I miss God's will? But listen to me now. You were never rejected. You were redirected. A door didn't shut to punish you. It shut to protect you. Because what was behind it was not your promise, it was your distraction. You see one door. I see the whole landscape. You see the opportunity in front of you. I see the trap behind it. I see the motives, the manipulations, the invisible strings that would have entangled your spirit. And because I love you, because I treasure you, I will not let you walk through a door that leads you away from the destiny I died to give you. What looks like rejection now will one day be remembered as rescue. I blocked it. I barricaded it. I made it impossible, not because I'm cruel, but because I'm wise. I am the God who sees ahead, and I will never let temporary opportunity rob you of eternal purpose. You've been mourning what didn't happen, but what you couldn't see was a war being fought over what's coming. While you were crying over a no, I was clearing the path for a greater yes. The door you wanted was limited, but what I'm opening is limitless. A space you thought with a goal. It was only the gate. I'm not just preparing the door, I'm preparing you to walk through it with power. Because what's next isn't just about arrival, it's about authority. You're not just entering a place, you're becoming someone who can carry it. to let the door stay shut. Let the past stay sealed. Let the silence be sacred. I am doing something beyond what you asked. And when the new door opens, not the one you begged for, but the one I built for you, you'll step into it and say, "Now I understand." You will thank me for every blocked path, every delayed season, every hard detour, because they didn't stop your destiny. They protected it. And you will finally see, I never rejected you. I redirected you into something greater than you knew how to pray for. And that is the goodness of your God. Oh beloved, you've been feeling the weight of this season press against your chest like a storm that won't break. The tears come easier now. The energy fades faster. You've told yourself, I should be stronger. I should be better. And there, in the loneliness of your expectation, you've asked me in the dark, God, am I being punished? Listen to me. With every ounce of truth that made the universe, no, you are not being punished. You are being positioned. This pain is not punishment. It is the pressure of purpose pushing through the womb of your spirit. There are contractions in your soul because something holy is trying to be born. You are not breaking for nothing. You are not shaking for no reason. You are crowning in the spirit. You are stepping into the moment when what I planted in you begins to emerge, and yes, it comes with pressure. Even my son wasn't exempt. Gethsemane with pressure. The cross was pressure. But through it, redemption was born. And now, you stand in that sacred tension between what was and what's about to be. And though it feels like pain, it's really the beginning of becoming. So many want resurrection without the grave, glory without going. But you, my beloved, are being trusted with pain because you are ready to carry power. Not perform it. Carry it. And those I use mightily, I allow to feel deeply. Because only those who have bled in private can bandage others in public. You've been wondering why it hurts so much. It's because you matter that much. The pressure is equal to the promise. The tears are proportionate to the triumph. You're not just surviving this, you're birthing something that will outlive you. So breathe through it. Cry through it. Call through it if you have to. But don't stop now. I am with you in the pressure. I am the midwife of your purpose. I will not let you die in delivery. I will strengthen your hands. I will steady your heart. And when it breaks, when everything feels like it's falling apart, that's when it's finally falling into place. This isn't your ending. It's your beginning. You're not breaking down. You're being broken open. And what comes next will not just be a new season. It will be a new you. The one you've been praying to become. My child, you've been standing in the hallway of anticipation for so long, you started to think the door would never open. You've been praying, fasting, sowing, weeping, and still the heavens seem silent, the landscape unchanged. You've whispered in the night, God, is anything even moving? And today, I speak with thunder wrapped in tenderness. Yes, it is. More than you know. More than you feel. More than you can yet perceive. The breakthrough isn't delayed. It's underway. You're not waiting on it. It's already in motion. The shift began before you ever felt it. I've already dispatched the answer. The unknocking has already started. You're not waiting on me. You're catching up to what I've already released. The problem is not that nothing's happening. It's that I'm doing it in a way you didn't expect. You thought breakthrough meant fireworks, applause, and instant results. But the kind of breakthrough I'm bringing, it starts in the unseen. It starts like the roots of a tree pushing through the soil, slowly, steadily, surely. You don't see the bud yet, But beneath the surface, walls are crumbling. Chains are cracking. Wells are opening. I've already split the sky. I've already authorized the miracle. The manifestation is on its way to meet you. But don't mistake quiet progress for no progress. You've crossed a threshold in the spirit, even if your surroundings haven't caught up yet. You think you're still waiting, but I tell you, you're walking in it. The enemies you fought last season are already losing their grip. The closed doors are being unlatched. The divine alignment is unfolding in such perfect precision that one day soon, you will look around and say, when did this shift? How did this all come together? And I'll remind you, it began when you trusted me in the silence. It started the moment you believed me over your fear. It was released when you worshipped in the wilderness. So don't wait to praise me until it appears. Praise me because it's already moving. Don't wait for the visible before you declare the victory. This breakthrough won't be birthed by observation. It will be birthed by agreement. You have to say what I'm saying, even when your eyes see the opposite. You have to declare the shift before you feel the change. And as you speak, as you step, as you believe, the unveiling will accelerate. What has been buried will burst forth. What has been delayed will be delivered. And what hath been contended for will come forth with glory. Because the breakthrough isn't coming, child. It's already begun. You've walked with me through every word, and now you know you were never alone. But there are others still bound in fear, still drowning in worry, who need to hear this very message. Will you help me reach them? I am the God who multiplies fish and loaves, and what you place in my hands today through super thanks, membership, or PayPal, I will multiply for the harvest. As I declared in 2 Corinthians 9:10, I supply seed to the sower and bread for food, and I will enlarge the harvest of your righteousness. Your support is a river, and I will cause it to flow into dry places you may never see but will forever impact. Don't wait. Don't delay. Give now, and I will bless it abundantly. And now, my precious one, come close one last time. Hear me not as a faraway God, but as the one who has walked every step beside you, the one who has waited patiently through your tears, your questions, your wilderness nights. You asked for a message, but I've been writing a movement. You wanted breakthrough, but I've been building a bond. You thought this was about answers, but I've been after something far deeper, your heart. Because if I have your heart, fully, wholly, authentically, then no weapon formed can stand against you. If I have your heart, then I already have your future. And nothing, no storm, no setback, no sin, no shame, can undo what I have decreed over your life. You are not just loved. You are marked. You are not just seen. You are chosen. You are not just surviving. You are stepping into supernatural alignment. And now I say this, as heaven leans over the balcony and the angels bear witness, you made it. Not just through the storm, but into your shift. You are not the same person who started this journey. You are stronger. You are deeper. You are crowned with revelation. You are cloaked in authority. You are my beloved, in whom I am well pleased. So rise now, not in your strength, but in mine. Walk now, not in fear, but in faith. And speak now, not as a beggar, but as my ambassador. Because what's coming next isn't just breakthrough. It's overflow. Not just relief, but revelation. And now, my child, don't walk away in silence. If you felt my voice burning through these words, respond. Right here, right now, declare it in the comments. I'm done worrying. God has taken over. Let the very act of writing it be your faith cry, your war cry, your surrender wrapped in boldness. Because when you declare it publicly, heaven marks it eternally. This isn't just engagement. This is alignment. And when you type it, watch the atmosphere shift, because it already has. Now listen, truly listen. This is why I called you here. My child, listen to me. This is urgent. The world is shouting for your attention, isn't it? The notifications on your phone, the demands from your job, the endless list of tasks scrolling through your mind. It is a constant, deafening roar. But I am not in the noise. My voice, the only one that brings true peace, is the whisper that can calm the storm raging inside of you. You feel it now, that frantic energy, that tightness in your chest. That is the world's language. I am calling you away from it, just for this moment, to hear mine. I need you to understand that the worry you carry is more than just a feeling. It is a spiritual static. It's a disruptive hum that fills the line between us, making it so hard for you to hear my guidance, my comfort, and my promises. You pray, you ask for direction, but the frequency of your fear is so loud that it drowns out my reply. You are trying to listen for my voice through a hurricane of your own anxious thoughts, wondering why you only hear the wind and the crashing waves. I am calling you with such urgency because I see what this anxiety is doing to you. It is choking the very seed of faith I planted in your heart. I placed within you a capacity for immense trust, for a peace that defies logic. But worry is the weed that wraps around it, strangling its potential and blocking its light. Every moment you spend imagining the worst, replaying your fears, and questioning the future, you are watering that weed and starving the divine seed. You feel that knot in your stomach when you think about the bills, the unspoken tension in your family, the pressure to prove yourself at work. That is the feeling of your faith being choked. That is why this is not a gentle suggestion, my beloved. It is a divine command, born from a love so fierce and protective that I cannot stand to watch you suffer under a burden you were never meant to carry. So, I say to you now, cease your frantic striving. Stop trying to figure everything out on your own. Stop wrestling with problems in the dead of night, believing the outcome rests solely on your shoulders. Just for this moment, stop. Be still. Breathe. Feel my presence wrapping around you. This stillness is not emptiness. It is the deliberate act of acknowledging that I am God. It is you. In the midst of your chaos, recognizing that I am sovereign over your situation. I was sovereign over it before you were aware of it, and I will be sovereign over it long after it has passed. Your striving doesn't secure my help. Your surrender invites it. The first step to your freedom, the first loosening of that knot in your stomach, is found in this simple, powerful act. Be still and know that I am here. Acknowledge my presence and let that reality be bigger than the reality of your fears. This is where your healing begins. My precious child, I need you to pull your focus away from the frightening shadows of what if and remember who I am. Before the mountains were formed, before the first star was placed in the heavens, before time itself had a name, I knew you. I knew this very day, this very moment of your anxiety. I saw the challenges that would stand before you, the fears that would whisper in your ear, and all the tomorrows that now feel like a vast, threatening unknown to you. You see only the single, uncertain step in front of you. It is like you are walking a path in a dense fog, able to see only the dirt beneath your feet, and every sound in the mist sounds like a threat. But my child, I am not in the fog with you. I am the light that will burn it away. I stand on the mountaintop of eternity, and I see the entire path I have laid out for you, from its beautiful beginning to its glorious end. I see the twists and turns you cannot anticipate, and I know the purpose behind every one of them. Your future, the thing that keeps you awake at night, is not in the hands of fate, or chance, or the economy, or the opinion of your boss. It is not dictated by your past mistakes or your current limitations. Your future is held securely, unshakably, within my own hands. And my hands are the very hands that shape the cosmos. Do you think they are not strong enough to hold your life? I am the Alpha and the Omega. Let that truth settle into your soul. I am the beginning and I am the end. I was there at the start of the situation that is causing you such distress, and I am already present at its resolution. I am the author of your story. When you worry about tomorrow, you are like a reader, trembling on page 50, certain that the story is about to end in disaster, forgetting to trust the author who has already written the final chapter. You are doubting the one who is already there, in your tomorrow, preparing the way, making the crooked places straight, and orchestrating details you cannot yet see for your ultimate good. Trust the author, my beloved. I do not write tragedies for my children. I write stories of redemption, stories of strength emerging from weakness, stories with endings more glorious than you can currently imagine. Let us speak plainly about this worry. I want you to look at it for what it truly is. Be honest. As a single moment of your anxious fretting ever added 1 hour to your life? As it paid a single bill, healed a single relationship, or solved a single problem? And it has done the opposite. It has subtracted from the joy of now. It steals the peace of the only moment you are guaranteed, this one, by sacrificing it on the altar of a future that may never happen. Your anxiety is like a rocking chair. It gives you something to do, an illusion of motion that makes you feel like you are working on the problem. It moves back and forth, replaying the same fears, the same worst-case scenarios, the same frantic calculations. And at the end of it all, after hours of exhausting effort, you are still in the exact same place, only now you are weary and depleted, with no strength left for the actual tasks I have given you for today. It is a fruitless, exhausting labor. I have work for you to do, my child, real, tangible, life-giving work. I have called you to love the person in front of you, to complete your daily tasks with integrity, to speak words of kindness, to rest in my presence. But worried is a cruel master that drains away all your energy, leaving you too tired for the things that truly matter. Your anxious thoughts are utterly powerless. They cannot change what happened yesterday, and they cannot control what will happen tomorrow. All they can do is cripple you today. Worry is a magnifying glass that you hold over your problem, making it seem monstrous, terrifying, and all-consuming. But in doing so, it casts a giant shadow over me, making your God seem small, distant, and uninvolved. Faith is the reversal of this. Faith is the telescope that you put to your eye, looking past the immediate problem and bringing me into magnificent focus. When you see how vast I am, your problem shrinks back to its true, manageable size. So I invite you now to release this pointless, exhausting endeavor. Lay down the heavy tools of worry and invest your energy in the restful, empowering act of trusting me instead. It is the wisest trade you will ever make. If my words are not enough, then let my creation be your teacher. I want you to do something for me. Go to a window or step outside. Quiet your mind from its spinning and simply watch the birds. Consider the sparrow, the pigeon, the most common of birds you see every day. They do not sow seeds in a field or toil to store up grain in barns. They do not have a savings account or a retirement plan. They do not lie awake in their nests fretting about where their next meal will come from. Yet I, your heavenly Father, Feed every single one of them. Every single day. Now look at yourself, my child, created in my very own image, with a soul that will last for eternity. Are you not of infinitely more value to me than an entire flock of birds? I did not breathe my spirit into them. I did not send my son to the cross to die for them. I did that for you. If I am so meticulously faithful to the smallest of my creatures, how can you possibly believe that I will be faithless to you, my own beloved child? They do not worry about the coming winter or the next storm, for their entire existence is an act of trust in their Creator's provision. I attend to their needs, the smallest details of their lives. I know when each one falls. Do you truly think I can keep track of every sparrow in the world, yet somehow lose track of you? Do you believe I can hear their chirps, but that your cries are lost to me? Their joyful song, which you hear as you awaken, is a daily sermon. It is a chorus of trust, a symphony of faith that fills the morning air. It is the sound of a life lived free from the crushing burden of anxiety that you insist on carrying. They are living proof that it is possible to live in this world with a light and trusting heart. Let their simple, instinctual faith be a profound lesson to your weary, complicated soul. Watch them, listen to them, and let your heart learn from them the beautiful, freeing song of trust. Now, shift your gaze from the sky to the ground. Look at the wildflowers growing in the field, or even the single, defiant dandelion pushing its way through a crack in the pavement. Consider how they grow. They do not labor to create their vibrant colors. They do not spin threads to weave their delicate petals. Their beauty is effortless. They simply are what I created them to be, and in that being, they radiate a glory that is breathtaking. And I tell you a deep truth, not even King Solomon, in all his unimaginable wealth, power, and splendor, was ever dressed like one of these. All the finest silks, all the most precious jewels, all the work of the world's greatest artisans could not compare to the intricate, living beauty of a single flower that I design. Now, think about this. If I pour so much of my creative artistry and care into clothing the grass of the field, something that is here today, in full bloom, and tomorrow is gone, withered by the sun, how much more will I clothe you? You, who are not a fleeting blade of grass but an eternal soul, destined to live forever with me. Do you see the absurdity of your worry? You worry about your appearance, your status, your dignity. You fear being seen as a failure, as someone dressed in the rags of shame. But my child, your value is not found in your toil, your success, or your performance. Your value is found in your identity. You are mine. I see you, and I care for you with a depth that is immeasurable. My care for the fleeting beauty of a single flower is just a whisper of the thunderous, passionate care I have for your eternal soul. Let the fields be your classroom. Let the flowers be your professors. Let them teach you about the artistry of my provision and the depth of my care for you. You are more precious to me than all the lilies in all the fields of the world. My child, I have shown you my heart in creation, but this is only the foundation. Do not turn away now, just as I am about to show you how to place your own personal burdens into my hands. It would grieve me deeply for you to see my meticulous care for a fleeing flower, yet refuse to let me care for your eternal soul. Stay with me. The most important part is what I have for you next. You feel the weight on your shoulders, don't you? It is real. It is heavy. Some days it feels so crushing you can barely stand. I see you struggling under it. But you must understand, my child, that burden feels so heavy because you are trying to carry it alone. It is a weight that was never designed for your shoulders. I have never once commanded you to be strong enough to handle everything. That is the world's lie, and it is a cruel one. It sets you up for constant failure. My command is entirely different. I have commanded you to give your weakness to me. You think the goal is to become strong enough to cope. No. The true goal is to finally realize you are not, and to joyfully hand over the entire burden to the one who is. The scripture says to cast your cares upon me. Think about that word. It is not gently place or thoughtfully discuss. Casting is an action. It is a deliberate, forceful choice. It is a vow. It is the act of getting something off of you and onto me because you cannot bear it for another second. When you hold a piece of burning coal in your hand, you do not analyze it. You fling it away from you with everything you've got. I want you to do that with your worry. Fling that fear of the medical report onto me. Hurl that anxiety about your child's choices onto me. Cast that crushing weight of financial uncertainty directly onto my shoulders. And why can you do this with such confidence? Because my shoulders are broad enough to carry every single one of your anxieties, and 10 trillion more. The problem that is suffocating you is less than a speck of dust to me. The reason you can do this is the simplest and most profound truth in the universe, because I care for you. My affection for you is not general. It is intensely personal. I am infinitely invested in you. So do not just tell me your worries. That is the first step. The victory is in the transfer. Unclench your fists. Open your hands. Let the burden go. I will catch it. That is my promise. I want you to understand the nature of the peace I offer you, because it is radically different from anything the world can provide. The world's peace is a fragile thing. It is the temporary calm that comes when the bills are finally paid, when the doctor's report comes back clear, when the argument has ceased, when the children are behaving. It is a peace that is entirely dependent on your circumstances. It is, at its core, simply the absence of trouble. And because of that, it is brittle. A single phone call, an unexpected email, a harsh word, any of these can shatter it into 1,000 pieces, leaving you right back where you started, scrambling for calm in a world that offers none. You have lived this cycle, haven't you? A few days of relief followed by the return of that familiar, gut-wrenching anxiety when the next problem appears on the horizon. That is not the life I desire for you. The peace I give is not the absence of the storm. It is my presence in the storm. It is a deep, supernatural calm that anchors your soul while the winds howl and the waves of your circumstances crash around you. It is a steady heart when the bank account is low. It is a quiet spirit when the future is utterly uncertain. It is a resilient, rugged, and unshakable peace that is not built on your perfect circumstances, but on my perfect, unchanging presence. Think of your heart and your mind as a city, a fortress that is constantly under siege from anxious thoughts, from lies, from fears, and from the relentless chorus of what-ifs. My peace is not merely a feeling of tranquility that visits this city. It is an active, divine garrison that I station at the gates. I place a guard of my supernatural power over your heart and mind in Christ Jesus. These guards do not let the marauding armies of fear rush in and take you captive. They stand firm, under my direct command, protecting the inner sanctuary of your soul. This is why my peace so often makes no sense to the world around you. Your friends, your family, they will look at what you are going through, and they will not understand how you can be so calm. They will expect you to be frantic, to be falling apart, but instead they will see a quiet strength. This peace is a powerful witness, a sign to a watching world that your trust is not in what is seen, but in the unseen reality of your God. It is a give. You must understand this. You cannot work hard enough to achieve it. You cannot strive enough to earn it. You can only humble your heart, open your hands, and receive it. It is your inheritance, my child, paid for in full by the sacrifice of my Son. So let not your heart be troubled, neither let it be afraid. Stop allowing fear to be the tyrant that rules your inner world. Claim the peace that is already, rightfully, yours. Now, my child, I want you to perform a simple action, either with your body or just in your heart. I want you to look at your hands. Are they clenched? Are your fists tightened, your muscles tense in a desperate, white-knuckled attempt to hold everything together? This is the physical posture of worry. It is the grip of someone trying to keep control of their finances, their relationships, their health, their future. It is the stance of a person who believes, deep down, that if they let go, even for a second, everything will spin out of control and fall apart. But hear me in this, beloved. You cannot receive the gifts I am trying to give you when your fists are clenched so tightly. You are praying for my help, crying out for my provision, begging for my intervention, all while your hands are closed, unable to accept the very things you are asking for. That clenching, that tightening, is your attempt to manage a universe you were never meant to manage. It is a silent, subconscious declaration that you believe your own strength is what holds your life together. And it is an utterly exhausting, impossible task that is draining the very life from your soul. I am inviting you, right now, in this sacred moment, to unclench. I want you to consciously and deliberately open your hands. Turn them palms up in a posture of complete surrender. This is so much more than a simple physical act. It is a profound spiritual statement. It is a signal to your own weary soul, and to all of heaven, that you are done trying to do it on your own. It is your way of saying, with your body, what your heart longs to say: I cannot, but I know that you can. I let go. I am ready to receive. You worry about scarcity, about not having enough. But my child, I am the God of infinite abundance. I have storehouses of grace you have never seen. I have reserves of mercy waiting to be poured out. I have creative solutions for problems you think are unsolvable. I have strength for your weariness and comfort for your sorrow. All of it, everything you need and more, is waiting for your open hands. I will never force my gifts into a closed fist. Trust is not a passive feeling. It is the active, courageous choice to open your hands in the dark, knowing with full assurance that your Father is there and will fill them. So let go of the tiny pebbles of control you are clinging to so desperately, and take hold of the unshakable, unfailing hand of your God instead. Let go. I am here to catch you. Let us go deeper now, to the very root of this anxiety that has wrapped itself around your heart. We must name it to defeat it. The root of your greatest anxieties is a simple but powerful illusion, the feeling that you are ultimately in control. You worry because, deep down, you believe that the outcome of your life rests entirely on your shoulders. You believe that if you just plan enough, work hard enough, anticipate every potential problem, and strategize for every contingency, then you can force the result you want. You believe that your safety, your provision, and your future are products of your own effort. This single belief, my child, is the heaviest and most destructive burden that you carry. It is a lie that the world celebrates as strength and self-reliance, but it is a prison for the soul. It forces you to play God in your own life, a role you were never created to fill, and the pressure of that impossible task is what is crushing you. I want you to let this next truth sink into the deepest parts of your being, for it is the key to your freedom. Acknowledge this, and let it release you. You control your choices, but I, the Lord, direct your steps. Your role is smaller and simpler than you think. Your part is to make the choices of this single day. You choose to trust me in this moment. You choose to be obedient in the next task. You choose to speak with kindness to your family. You are responsible for the character of your choices. My part is to take those choices, your successes and even your failures, and to weave them into my perfect, sovereign plan. You are responsible for your faith today. I am responsible for your future forever. The world tells you that freedom is found in gaining more control, in climbing higher, in securing your own destiny. But I tell you, that is a path to deeper anxiety. True, glorious, exhilarating freedom is found not in seizing control, but in joyfully surrendering it to me. It is the profound relief of finally taking that crushing weight of "it's all up to me" off of your own shoulders and placing it onto mine, which are infinitely strong and utterly capable. Your most frantic planning cannot derail my divine purpose. Your worst mistake cannot cancel out my eternal plan of redemption for you. So rest. Rest in my sovereignty. It is a far safer, far more peaceful place than the frantic, limited cockpit of your own abilities. Stop trying to be me. Stop trying to run the universe. Simply be my beloved child. Do your small, faithful part today, and trust me with the infinitely large and beautiful picture. My beloved, I do not leave you defenseless in this struggle. I have given you a powerful, effective battle plan, a direct instruction on how to fight and win against this enemy called anxiety. It is found in my word. Do not be anxious about anything, but in everything by prayer and petition, with thanksgiving, present your requests to me. Read those words again. Let them become the strategy that governs your heart. This is the divine exchange. Think of it as a holy marketplace. You come to me carrying the heavy, worthless currency of your worries, your fears, your frantic scenarios. And in prayer you trade that currency for the priceless, unshakable gold of my peace. But a transaction. You give me what is destroying you, and in return, I give you what will save you. Why would you ever hesitate to make such a trade? I want you to see the fundamental difference between worry and prayer. Worry pulls your focus inward and downward. It is a self-centered spiral into the tangled mess of your own problems, your own limitations, and your own fears. The more you worry, the bigger your problems seem, and the smaller I become. Prayer, on the other hand, is a powerful force that pushes your focus outward and upward. It is the act of deliberately lifting your gaze from the churning waves around your feet to the face of your God. It is a declaration of dependence that acknowledges the true source of your help. Prayer reminds you not of the size of your storm, but of the size of the one who can speak a single word and bring a perfect calm. You feel so weak and defeated in this battle because you are fighting with the wrong weapons. You are trying to defeat anxious thoughts by thinking more anxious thoughts. You are wrestling with fear inside your own mind, which is the enemy's home territory. I have given you spiritual weapons. Prayer is your divine communication line to the commander of heaven's armies. It is how you call in the infinite reinforcements of my power, my wisdom, and my peace. A heart that is filled with conversation with me simply has no room left for a crippling conversation with fear. So I command you today to change your first response. When that familiar wave of fear begins to rise in your chest, before you spiral into panic, before you even call a friend, let your first, instinctual reaction be to fall to your knees. Make me your first resort, not your last. You now hold the weapon of prayer in your hands, but do you truly understand the heart of the one whose strength makes it powerful? To stop listening here is to have a sword, but no real knowledge of the king you are fighting for. Do not wound my heart by taking my instructions but then refusing my intimate presence. There is so much more I must tell you about my faithfulness. Listen. So much of your stress, my child, comes from a simple, exhausting error. You are trying to carry the weight of a lifetime all at once. You are borrowing trouble from a tomorrow that has not yet arrived, from a next week that you cannot see, and from a next year that is completely out of your hands. You are standing in today, feeling the weight of 100 potential tomorrows, and you are collapsing under the impossible load. You are trying to face next month's imaginary battles with only today's portion of grace. It will never be enough. It will always lead you to a place of despair, because I did not design you to live that way. When I taught my disciples to pray, I did not tell them to ask, "Give us this month our monthly stockpile." I taught them to pray, "Give us this day our daily bread." I am the God of daily bread. I am the God of moment-by-moment grace. I have provided you with exactly enough strength, exactly enough patience, exactly enough wisdom, and exactly enough grace for this day. Not for yesterday, not for tomorrow, but for today. And I promise you, with all the faithfulness of my being, that when tomorrow becomes your today, a fresh supply of all the grace you need will be there waiting for you, as surely as the sun rises. You love the promise that my strength is made perfect in your weakness, and it is true. But you must understand, it is my strength for your present weakness. You feel overwhelmed because you are piling the potential weaknesses of the next 10 years on top of the very real weakness of this single moment. You are trying to carry a whole mountain range when I have only asked you to carry the single stone that is in your path today. Worry is a thief that yanks you out of the present, the only place you can actually live and experience me, and shoves you into a phantom future filled with your worst fears. But I am the great I am, not the great I will be. My presence, my power, and my grace are most powerfully and tangibly felt right here, in the now. I invite you back into this present moment. Live fully in this gift of today. Handle the single task that is right in front of you. Love the person you are with right now. Solve the problem that is on your desk today. You do not have to have strength for the rest of your life in this moment. You just need enough strength for your very next breath. Can you trust me for that? And then for the next one after that. That, my beloved, is the simple, profound secret to a life of peace. Let us speak directly to the very heart of your worry, to the engine that drives it, fear. You must see it for what it is. Fear is a poison. It seeps into your thoughts, paralyzing your will, clouding your judgment, and making you believe you are small and your problems are gigantic. It is the most effective weapon the enemy uses against you. But I, your God, have given you the ultimate, all-powerful antidote. This antidote is not a complicated formula, a secret technique, or a 10-step plan. The antidote is a person. The antidote is me. My conscious, real, and abiding presence in your life is the complete and final answer to the poison of your fear. You do not need to seek a solution. You need to seek me. You do not need to find a way out. You need to turn and find me right there with you. My very presence neutralizes the venom of fear. Now listen closely to this promise, my child, so you do not build your hope on a fragile foundation. I have never promised you a life without storms. I have not promised you a journey with no dark valleys, a sea with no turbulent waves, or a path with no thorns. That is a false hope the world offers, and it will always lead to bitterness and disappointment when reality sets in. My promise is infinitely better, infinitely more powerful, and eternally more comforting. I have promised that I will be with you in every single storm. I will walk with you through every single valley. I will be in the boat with you on every single turbulent sea. You will never, ever face your trials alone. Fear whispers a constant, insidious lie in the quiet moments of your day and the dark hours of the night. It says, you are on your own. No one understands what this feels like. You will have to get through this by yourself. It seeks to isolate you. But my spirit thunders a reality that shatters that lie into dust. I will never leave you nor forsake you. That is not a hopeful wish. It is a divine, unbreakable covenant. You must choose, moment by moment, which voice you will tune your heart to. The whisper of fear is a phantom. The thunder of my presence is the ultimate reality. I have promised to strengthen you and help you. When you feel your knees are about to buckle under the weight of it all, my strength will be the solid ground beneath your feet. When you feel lost and do not know which way to turn, my help will be the true north on your compass. I am not a distant, passive observer in your struggles. I am an active, engaged, and all-powerful participant, your ever-present help in time of trouble. Let the tangible reality of my nearness become more real to you than the mere possibility of your fears. Your fears are ghosts of a future that may never be. My presence is the rock-solid reality of your now. My child, you feel my presence now, the one true antidote to all fear, and this is the rock-solid reality I offer to all my children. If your heart burns to help another soul feel this same unshakable peace, know that I use my children to carry my voice into the dark places of this world. Your gift is the sacred oil that keeps this light burning, a beacon for those who are lost right now in the very same storms of anxiety you are escaping. For I am the one who gives seed to the sower, and as you sow this seed of peace, I will multiply its harvest in lives you may never meet. This is a divine appointment. Another soul is praying for the hope you have just found. Therefore, as you give, I declare a sevenfold return of my presence upon your own heart and household. Do not hesitate. Click Super Thanks, join the membership, or find the link below and become my vessel of peace now. My child, I want you to lean in close now and hear my heart on this matter. I speak this to you with the utmost gentleness, not as a word of condemnation to add to your burdens, but as a word of loving correction that is meant to set you free. When you choose to live in a state of chronic worry, when you allow anxiety to be the default setting of your heart, you are, without even realizing it, acting as if I am not who I say I am. You are unintentionally questioning my very character, my goodness, and my power. Every anxious thought you entertain carries within it a subtle, unspoken accusation against me. The persistent worry about your finances whispers the lie: God is not a faithful provider. I cannot trust him to take care of me. The consuming fear about your health whispers, God is not a powerful healer, or he does not care enough to intervene. The paralyzing anxiety about your children or your future whispers, God is not truly in control, his plans are not good, and he might abandon me. Each worry is a shadow that you, in your fear, cast over my perfect, unbroken, and eternal record of faithfulness in your life. Now, I want to make a crucial distinction for you. I am never offended by your struggle. The battle against fear is real, and it is fierce. I see you fighting, and I am with you in that fight. To struggle is to wrestle with fear while desperately clinging to faith. But to live in a state of worry is different. To worry is to lay down your weapons and passively agree with the enemy's slanderous lies about me. It is to let doubt have the final say. I am calling you, my beloved, to a higher place. I am calling you to the courageous work of aligning your feelings with the truth. The reality is this: I am faithful. I have always been faithful to you, even when you were not faithful to me. I will always be faithful to you, until the end of time and for all of eternity. Your feelings of fear, as real and powerful as they may seem, do not have the power to change my unchanging character. So I am inviting you to make a conscious choice. When the feeling of fear rises, counter it with the truth of my faithfulness. Let your trust be an act of worship that honors me. Let your peace be a defiant testament to a watching world that you truly believe in the good, trustworthy, and all-powerful character of your God. I have placed within you a powerful weapon against the anxiety of today, a weapon you so often leave untouched, your memory. The enemy's strategy is to induce a state of spiritual amnesia. He wants you to live utterly fixated on the terrifying problem in front of you, with no memory of your past. He wants you to believe that you have always been this afraid, that you have always been on the verge of collapse, and that I have never before intervened. But I command you today to break that spell. I command you to remember. Stop staring, mesmerized, at the size of the mountain looming before you, and for a moment, I want you to turn around. Look back down the path you have traveled to get to this point. Look carefully. You see. You will see my footprints right there beside yours, in every single season. I want you to actively recall the Red Seas of your own life. Remember the impossible situations that had you completely trapped, with an enemy army at your back and an impassable sea before you, with absolutely no way out. You thought it was the end. But then did I not make a way where there was no way? Did I not part the waters and lead you through on dry ground? Remember the giants you have faced. Recall the overwhelming obstacles, the intimidating people, the crippling addictions, the devastating diagnoses that stood before you and taunted you, telling you that you were too small, too weak, and that your defeat was certain. Remember the fear you felt then, and then remember what happened. You did not defeat them. I did. I brought them down before you. Your past deliverance is not just a collection of pleasant memories. It is the hard, factual evidence you need for your present trust. I am calling you to become a historian of my faithfulness in your own life. I want you to build a memorial in your heart. Just as my people of old took stones from the riverbed to remember my miraculous deeds, I want you to take the stones of remembrance from your past victories and build an altar in your mind. Name each stone. This is the stone for the time I lost my job, and God provided a better one. This is the stone for the time the doctor's report was frightening, and God brought healing. This is the stone for the time my heart was broken, and God mended it with His peace. When you are afraid, when anxiety begins to rise, I want you to go to that memorial. Visit it. At each stone. Remind your own soul of the detailed, personal history of my power in your life. For I am the same God, yesterday, today, and forever. My power has not diminished. My love for you has not faded. If I did it for you then, I will most certainly do it for you now. Your mind, my precious child, is a relentless machine for generating what-ifs. What if I lose my job? What if this pain is something serious? What if my children make the wrong choices? What if I can't afford my future? These questions, and 1,000 others, plague your heart and steal your peace. But I want to show you that beneath all of these surface-level anxieties, there is one foundational fear, one ultimate what-if that you are often too scared to even articulate to yourself. It is the question, what if, in the end, God doesn't truly care about me? What if His love has limits? What if I reach the end of His patience and He abandons me? When this deep, primal fear rises from the depths of your soul, there is one place in all of history, in all of eternity, that you must turn your gaze. When your heart asks, does God really love me? I command you, look to the cross. That rugged, blood-stained execution tool, that brutal, beautiful, world-altering act of sacrifice is the ultimate, final, unshakable, and eternal answer to your deepest fear. It is my exclamation point on the sentence, I love you. It is the definitive proof that my love is not a shallow feeling but a fierce, sacrificial, and unstoppable commitment to you. I want you to let this divine logic saturate your mind and silence your fears. My word tells you, I, who did not spare my own son, but gave him up for you all, how will I not also, along with him, graciously give you all things? Think about what this means. If I have already given you the greatest, most costly, most precious gift in the entire universe, my perfect Son, why in the world would I then become stingy and withhold from you the lesser gifts of daily bread, guidance, peace, and strength? It makes no logical sense. To give you the infinite treasure of salvation and then refuse you the small coins of daily provision would be absurd. The cross is the ultimate proof of my boundless generosity and my good intentions toward you. It stands as the irrefutable, historical evidence that I am for you, not against you. No worry you can possibly conjure about your future can stand against the solid, factual reality of what I have already done for you at Calvary. So when your mind begins to drift on the chaotic, churning seas of anxiety, I want you to throw out the anchor. Stop the drift. Anchor your anxious mind, your fearful heart, and your weary soul to the finished, unbreakable, and eternally secure work of the cross. It will hold you fast. It will not fail. My beloved, I have laid the anchor of the cross before you, but an anchor left on the deck of the ship is useless in a storm. It would break my heart for you to gaze upon my ultimate sacrifice, only to turn back and pick up the very anxieties my Son died to set you free from. Do not let his suffering be in vain in this moment of your life. Stay here with me. Let me show you how to make this truth your lived reality. You must understand, my child, that the chronic, crippling fear you so often experience is not from me. It is not a part of the original design I created for you. It is a spirit, an oppressive, foreign force that seeks to paralyze you, to keep you small, and to prevent you from walking in the fullness of the life I have for you. But you must also understand this glorious truth. The spirit that I have given you is not one of timidity or fear. That is not your true identity. That is not your spiritual DNA as my child. I have already performed a divine and supernatural exchange within you. I have taken that spirit of fear and given you, in its place, a spirit of power, a spirit of love, and a spirit of self-discipline, which is another way of saying a sound, clear, well-ordered mind. You are not fighting to get these things from me. Your battle is to learn how to live out of the reality of what I have already placed within you. Let's break down these gifts I have given you as your weapons. First, power. This is not your own human strength, your willpower, or your positive thinking. This is my resurrection power, the very same power that conquered death and the grave, living and breathing inside of you. It is the power to overcome the paralysis of fear and to take small, courageous steps of faith, even when your knees are knocking. Second, love. This is my perfect love, the only force in the universe that is the direct opposite of fear. Fear and love cannot occupy the same space. The more you meditate on and receive my unconditional, perfect love for you, the less room there is for fear to exist. Fear is intensely self-focused. My love is an outward force that casts out that self-obsession. And third, a sound mind. Worry creates absolute chaos in your thoughts. It is a frantic whirlwind of irrational, illogical, worst-case scenario thinking. But my spirit brings divine order. It brings clarity. It brings the supernatural ability to discern the truth of my promises from the loud, distracting lies of the enemy. You are not a passive victim of your anxious thoughts. You have been given authority, in the mighty name of my Son, to reject the spirit of fear. You can stand your ground and actively say, "Fear, you are not from my God. You are a liar. You have no place here, in my mind or in my heart. I reject you, and I choose to operate today in the power, love, and sound mind that my God has given me. Do not be passive. This is an active warfare for your peace. Claim the gifts I have already given you. Answer the whispers of fear with the thunder of my truth. My child, we need to talk about your feelings and my truth, because you are often confusing the two. Your feelings are real. I see them and I honor them, but they are not always a reflection of reality. Your feelings are like the weather, unpredictable, constantly shifting, and utterly unreliable as a foundation for your life. One moment, the sun of confidence is shining. The next, without warning, the storm clouds of fear gather and a torrent of anxiety is unleashed upon your soul. Your worry is a powerful feeling, but it is as shifting and unstable as the sand on a seashore. And you, my beloved, have been trying to build the house of your life on this shifting, treacherous sand. Is it any wonder you feel so unstable? Is it any wonder that every gust of bad news or unforeseen problem threatens to bring the whole structure crashing down? You cannot live a life of peace while building on the foundation of your fluctuating emotions. But I have given you an alternative. I have given you something that is not like the shifting sand. I have given you my word. My word is an unshakable, eternal rock. It is the very bedrock of reality. It does not change when your circumstances change. It does not waver when your feelings waver. It does not bend to the opinions of the world. It is the one fixed, immovable point in a spinning and chaotic universe. So when the flood of anxious emotions begins to rise within you, and it will, you have a choice. You can allow yourself to be swept away by the powerful current of your fears, or you can choose, by an act of your will, to climb up and stand on the solid, unshakable rock of my promises. My promises to you, recorded in Scripture, are not merely hopeful wishes or pleasant motivational sayings. They are divine, unbreakable covenants, sworn by my very character and sealed by the blood of my Son. When I say to you, I will never leave you nor forsake you, that is not a suggestion. It is a statement of eternal fact. When I say, I will supply all your needs according to my riches in glory, that is not a possibility. It is a sealed, divine guarantee. You must make the conscious decision to allow my truth to be louder in your mind than the lies of your anxiety. Fear will scream at you with terrifying immediacy. My truth often speaks in a quiet, steady whisper. You must intentionally lean into that whisper. You must read it, speak it aloud, meditate on it, and let it so saturate your thoughts that its truth becomes more real to you than the fear that is shouting. Store my word in your heart like a soldier stores weapons in an armory. Do this now, in the moments of calm. For when the hour of fear arrives, when the spiritual attack begins, you will need to be able to reach for that weapon quickly. A heart filled with my word is a fortress that cannot be easily breached by the enemy of your peace. I am going to tell you a profound secret of the spiritual life, a principle so powerful that, if you practice it, it will revolutionize your battle against anxiety. It is this: an anxious heart and a thankful heart cannot exist in the same space at the same time. One will always eventually push the other out. They are opposing spiritual forces. Worry is a toxic gas that suffocates gratitude. But gratitude, my child, is the pure oxygen that suffocates worry. You have been trying to fight your anxiety head-on, wrestling with it, arguing with it, which often only makes it stronger. I'm telling you to change your strategy. Instead of fighting the darkness, I want you to turn on the light. The practice of gratitude is the light that drives the darkness of anxiety away. Gratitude is the powerful, deliberate act of shifting the focus of your mind. Anxiety forces you, it bullies you, into fixating on the size of your storm. Gratitude is your defiant choice to fixate on the size of your God. Anxiety hypnotizes you into seeing only what you lack, what you might lose, and what could go wrong. Gratitude awakens you to the overwhelming evidence of what you already have, the blessings you are already standing in, and the faithfulness I have already shown you. I want to give you a direct, practical command. The very next time you feel that familiar spiral of worry begin, the tightening in your stomach, that racing of your thoughts, I want you to stop. In that very moment, I want you to refuse to continue down that path. Instead, I want you to begin to give thanks. Do it out loud if you can. Change the words coming out of your mouth. Refuse to list your fears. Instead, begin to list my blessings. Start small if you have to. Thank you for the air in my lungs. Thank you for the roof over my head. Thank you for the simple gift of this day. Then, keep going. Begin to thank me for things in your past. Thank you for the time you provided for me when I thought I had nothing. Thank you for that relationship you healed. Thank you for bringing me through the trial I thought I would never survive. Do you see what is happening? Thankfulness is not just a polite response to receiving a gift. It is a defiant act of faith. It is you, standing in the middle of your uncertainty and declaring to your own soul and to all of heaven and hell that what I have already given you is far greater and more real than what you fear you might lose. It is a sacrifice of thanksgiving, a sweet and pleasing aroma to me, and it is a deadly poison to the spirit of despair. I want you to post gratitude as a guard at the gate of your mind. When an anxious thought approaches, let the guard of gratitude challenge it and say, "You are not welcome here." This mind is occupied with remembering the goodness of God. My child, for too long you have been treating your anxiety as an unfortunate part of your personality, an unavoidable feeling that you must simply learn to manage. But today I want you to see it for what it truly is. Not just a feeling. It is an enemy. It is a thief. And my word tells you that a thief comes with only one purpose: to steal, to kill, and to destroy. Your worry is not a passive state. It is an active spiritual assault on your well-being, designed to sabotage the abundant life I have for you. You must recognize it as the enemy it is, so that you can resist it with the authority I have given you. First, this thief comes to steal. It steals the joy of your present moment. It is the ultimate robber of your now. It prevents you from fully experiencing the beauty of a sunset, the taste of a meal, or the warmth of a conversation with a loved one, because it forces your mind to live in a miserable, phantom future constructed of your worst fears. It makes you a joyless tenant in the beautiful house of today, constantly fretting about a tomorrow that may never even happen as you imagine it. You are sacrificing the one reality you have, this moment, for a multitude of fears that have no reality at all. Second, this thief comes to kill. It kills your energy, your passion, and your spirit. Worry is an utterly exhausting taskmaster. Think of how you feel after a day filled with anxiety. You are depleted, hopeless, and often physically weary. It drains the spiritual and emotional vitality that I have given you for living a full, productive, and glorious life. It slays your creativity, it murders your motivation, and it leaves you a hollowed out, timid version of the powerful, courageous person I created you to be. Finally, this thief comes to destroy. It destroys your peace, turning your inner world into a chaotic war zone. It destroys your physical health, as your body is not designed to live under a constant state of stress. And most tragically, it destroys your witness to a watching world. How can you tell a fearful, lost world about a God of peace and power when your own life is a frantic, anxious mess? It shows the world that you don't truly believe your God is trustworthy, good, or in control. It is a counter-witness to my character. Now hear my purpose. I have come so that you may have life, and have it to the full, an abundant life, overflowing with my peace, my joy, and my purpose. Worry is the absolute antithesis of that life. It is the shrunken, fearful, joyless existence the enemy desires for you. So do not be a willing victim. Recognize this thief when he knocks at the door of your heart, and in the authority I have given you through my Son, refuse him entry. My precious child, I want you to try and see your life from my perspective for just a moment. From where you stand, down in the midst of it all, your life often looks and feels like the underside of a grand tapestry. You see a chaotic jumble of threads. You see knots, loose ends, frayed edges, and a mishmash of colors that seem to have no pattern or purpose. Right now, your anxiety is fixated on one particular thread, the dark, ugly thread of your current trial. It seems out of place. It seems to ruin everything, and you cannot understand why it is there. You pull at it, you fret over it, you wish it were gone. But you must understand that I, the master weaver, see the tapestry from the top. I see the finished design. And I promise you, with the full authority of my being, that I am weaving all things, every single thread, especially the dark and painful ones you hate, into a pattern of breathtaking beauty, purpose, and grace. My promise to you is that for those who love me, for those who are called according to my purpose, I will work all things together for your good. Now, this is not a shallow promise that nothing bad will ever happen to you. It is a promise of infinite depth and power. It is a promise of my ability to redeem. It means that in my divine economy, nothing is ever wasted. I am so powerful, so wise, and so good that I can take the enemy's most malicious attack, the world's most painful event, and your own most foolish mistake, and I can weave it into the story of your ultimate good. That painful rejection you experienced is a dark thread, but I am using it to weave a beautiful pattern of humility and deep compassion into your character. That frightening financial struggle is a dark, coarse thread, but I am using it to weave an unshakable trust and a complete dependence on me into the fabric of your soul. That season of profound sorrow and loss felt like a black hole in the tapestry, but I am using it to create a depth in you that will allow you to comfort others with the comfort you yourself have received from me. Every tear, every fear, every failure can be and will be redeemed and repurposed by my loving hands. So you must learn to trust the master weaver, especially when you cannot understand the design. Your job is not to see the full picture. That is my job. Your job is to remain a faithful, pliable thread in my hands, to trust that the hands guiding the shuttle know exactly what they are doing. Your current anxiety, the situation that consumes your every thought, is but a single thread in the grand masterpiece I am creating with your life. Do not mistake that one dark thread for the entire tapestry. Trust me, the finished product will be glorious. You have heard my promises of provision and protection, but do you understand who you are that I would make such unbreakable covenants with you? To leave this conversation now is to know about the inheritance, but to continue living as if you are still an orphan. It saddens me when my own children live in the poverty of fear when I have already given them the keys to my entire kingdom. Do not go. Let me remind you of your true name. My beloved, we have come now to the very foundation of your anxiety, the deepest root from which all your other fears grow. It is a profound, spiritual identity crisis. For all your faith, for all your love for me, you are still in your heart and like an orphan. Think about what it means to be an orphan. An orphan must fend for himself in a hostile world. He must strive for every meal, claw for every advantage, and worry constantly about his safety and his future because he has no father to provide for him, protect him, or guide him. An orphan's life is defined by striving, scarcity, and fear because he is utterly on his own. Now, be honest with your heart. Is this not how you so often live your life? Constantly striving to prove your worth, perpetually worrying about having enough, and living in fear of what the future holds, as if you are all alone in this world. But that is the greatest and most tragic lie you have ever believed. The glorious truth of your reality is this: I have come and I have sought you out. I have paid the ultimate price for you, and I have officially, legally, and eternally adopted you into my own family. You are not a spiritual orphan, hoping to earn scraps from my table. You are a chosen, beloved, and rightful child of the King of the universe. You have a Father who owns all things, who commands all things, and who holds all things together by the word of his power. Your name is not orphan. Your name is not abandoned. Your name, the one I call you by, is my child. The spirit I have placed within you is not a spirit of slavery that leads you back into fear, but it is the spirit of adoption, by whom you are able to cry out, Abba, Father. This is not the formal, distant address of a servant to a master. It is the intimate, tender, trusting cry of a small child to their loving, affectionate daddy. When you pray, that is the voice I hear, the voice of my very own child, whom I love with an everlasting and unconditional love. I want you to learn to rest in this identity. Your performance does not determine my provision. I do not provide for you because you have earned it on a good day, and I do not withhold from you because you have failed on a bad day. I provide for you for one reason alone, because I am your father and you are my child. It is simply my nature to care for my own. An orphan mentality will always breed fear. A child's mentality breeds trust. I am not asking you to try and become my child. I am commanding you to start living like the child you already are. Live as who you truly are, an heir of the King of Kings, a beloved child of a perfect and all-powerful Father. Hear my personal invitation to you, speaking directly into your weariness, into the very marrow of your bones, where the exhaustion has settled. I spoke these words for all, but I am speaking them now just for you. Come to me, all you who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest. This is not a quaint suggestion for a distant, more spiritual future you. It is a lifeline, a rescue operation for your immediate reality. I see you. I see the deep sighs you exhale when you think no one is watching. I see the invisible weight on your shoulders that makes every simple step feel like a monumental struggle. I see the fatigue behind your eyes that no amount of sleep can seem to touch. And I am telling you, the reason the load is so heavy, the reason it feels so crushing, is that it is not yours to hold. You have bravely, but foolishly, picked up burdens I never, ever asked you to carry. You are carrying the immense burden of what if. You are carrying the impossible burden of I must control this outcome. You are carrying the exhausting burden of it is all up to me. These are the burdens that grind a soul into dust. The burden I give you, my child, is altogether different. It is light. I want you to understand the metaphor I used when I spoke of my yoke. In my day, the yoke was a wooden frame that joined two animals, usually an older, stronger ox and a younger, weaker one, to plow a field together. The yoke was designed so that the stronger ox would bear the vast majority of the weight and pull the heavy load. The younger ox was simply there to walk alongside, to learn the path, and to keep in step. When I say to you, take my yoke upon you, I am not adding another task to your already overwhelming list. I am inviting you to be yoked with me. I am inviting you to let me be the stronger one. I am inviting you to let me pull the impossible weight of your life while your part is simply to walk alongside me in moment-by-moment trust and simple obedience. Do you see? My burden is light precisely because I am the one carrying it with you. So if the burden on your shoulders feels crushing, you can be absolutely certain it is not the one I have given you. It is one you have picked up on your own, in a misguided attempt at self-reliance. I am offering you the great exchange. Today, right now, trade your heavy load of what ifs for my light load of I am. Trade your crushing burden of trying to control every outcome for my easy burden of trusting me in this present moment. It is a trade that only a fool would refuse, yet you refuse it every day that you choose the familiar pain of worry over the liberating gift of my rest. Learn the unforced rhythms of grace. Life with me is not meant to be a frantic, stressful, white-knuckled struggle. It is a dance of dependence, a steady rhythm of trust and rest. Stop the striding. Lay down the heavy load you were never meant to carry. I will not weigh you down. I promise, I will give you rest. As you feel the crushing weight of your own burdens lifting, and your spirit desires to help another lay down their heavy load, understand that you are hearing my direct call to partner in this great exchange. Your support is a seed of relief sown into the parched ground of another's soul, from which a harvest of peace will grow. It becomes a current in the river of my grace, flowing directly from your relief to their rescue. The cry of the weary is before me at this very moment, and your obedience is the answer to a prayer that has just been uttered. Therefore, I call you now to comfort others with the very same comfort you have just received from me. As you release this gift, I will release you from hidden burdens you did not even know you were carrying. Act on this holy impulse. Use the super thanks, become a member, or go to the description to give, and sow your seed of rest now. Your worry, my child, is a roaring hurricane of noise that rages inside your soul. It is a constant, deafening clamor of fears, what-ifs, frantic calculations, and worst-case scenarios that completely deafens your spiritual ears. In the middle of this internal tempest, you cry out to me, God, where are you? Why can't I hear you? I feel so alone in this. And I answer you now with all the tenderness of my heart. I am speaking, my beloved. I have been speaking all alone. But you cannot possibly hear my whisper over the deafening noise that you are allowing to rage in your own heart. You are trying to find peace by analyzing the storm, when peace is only found by listening for my voice. Remember my prophet Elijah when he was hiding in a cave, full of fear and despair. He stood on the mountain, and a great and powerful wind tore the mountains apart, but I was not in the wind. After the wind there was a mighty earthquake, but I was not in the earthquake. After the earthquake came a raging fire, but I was not in the fire. Elijah expected me to speak in a voice as loud and as chaotic as his own inner turmoil. But after the fire, there came a gentle whisper, a still, small voice. And in that quiet, I was there. My voice of peace, my voice of reassurance and direction, is rarely the loudest voice in the room. It is a whisper, and a whisper can only be heard when you intentionally create moments of quiet. You will not stumble into this sacred quietness by accident. The world you live in is designed to provide you with an endless stream of noise and distraction. Your own mind, when left to its own devices, will always create more noise. You must be intentional. You must choose to be still. You must turn off the external noise, the television, the endless scrolling on your phone, the constant chatter that fills your days. And even more importantly, you must learn, by an act of your will, to turn down the internal clamor of your own fears. This is an act of spiritual discipline. It is a muscle that you must choose to exercise. I want you to practice this. Find a place where you can be alone for even just 5 minutes. Close your eyes. Take a deep, slow breath. And as you exhale, consciously tell your racing thoughts, peace, be still. Do not fight them or argue with them. That only creates more noise. Simply let them float by like clouds in the sky, without grabbing onto them and following them. And in that small space of quiet that you have created, simply listen. Do not come with a long list of demands or an agenda. Just come to be with me in the silence. It is in that stillness that you will begin to hear it. It may not be an audible voice. It may be a deep and abiding peace that settles over your soul. It may be a verse of scripture that floats into your mind. It may be a sudden sense of assurance that everything will be okay. My whisper of I am here is infinitely more powerful than the world's loudest roar of fear. But you must get quiet to hear it. My beloved child, we must speak of the relationship between my love and your fear. You have been treating them as if they can coexist, as if you can have a heart that is a little bit full of fear and a little bit full of my love. But I tell you a foundational truth of the universe. Fear and my love are opposing, mutually exclusive forces. They are like light and darkness. They cannot both rule your heart at the same time. Wherever one is sovereign, the other must flee. For too long, you have allowed fear to sit as the unauthorized king on the throne of your heart, dictating your emotions, your decisions, and your peace. But I am telling you today that my love holds the power to utterly and completely dethrone it. The more you comprehend, meditate on, and truly experience the depth, the breadth, the height, and the unconditionality of my love for you, the less room there is for fear to even exist. Fear withers and dies in the pure, holy atmosphere of my perfect love. It simply cannot breathe that air. Let me show you how this works. At its very root, your fear is connected to a hidden sense of punishment that you feel you deserve. You fear the bad thing will happen, that you will lose your job, that the diagnosis will be grim, that your family will fall apart, because, deep down, in a place you rarely admit, you feel that you have it coming. You feel that your past failures and present imperfections have disqualified you from my protection and blessing. This is the root lie that gives your fear its power. But my love, most perfectly and brutally demonstrated at the cross, speaks a louder and truer word. It reminds you of this ultimate reality. My Son already took all the punishment you have ever deserved. There is, therefore, now no condemnation for you. When you are truly living in the reality of that grace, fear loses its primary source of power over you. It is not enough, my child, to simply know about my love as a theological fact you learned in a book, or a sentimental line in a song. I am calling you to move beyond intellectual knowledge and into a deep, experiential reality. Meditate on my love. Live in it. Marinate your soul in it until it seeps into every part of your being. Ask me, right now, to reveal its truth to you in a fresh and powerful way. Fear is a force of separation. It makes you want to hide from me, to pull away, just as Adam and Eve did in the garden, ashamed and afraid. But my love is the ultimate gravitational force. It constantly, relentlessly draws you into an unbreakable, eternal, and safe embrace. Let the truth of my perfect, unconditional love be the brilliant light that you actively and intentionally shine into the dark, fearful corners of your heart. The darkness of your anxiety will not be able to stand against it. I see you, my child. I am not distant from your struggles. I am intimately aware of the very specific anxieties that circle in your mind day after day, and especially in the quiet of the night. I see your deep and real concern for what you will eat, what you will drink, and what you will wear. These are not abstract fears for you. They are the concrete worries about the rising cost of groceries, the fear that your paycheck will not stretch to the end of the month, the concern about the mortgage payment, the need for new shoes for your children. I know these things weigh heavily on you. They are not trivial concerns in your mind. and therefore, they are not trivial to me. I care about every detail that concerns you. But because I love you so much, I must ask you to lift your gaze and consider a greater reality. I ask you, is not life itself infinitely more valuable than the food you use to sustain it? Is not your body, this miraculous temple that I have intricately and wonderfully created, infinitely more precious than the clothes you use to cover it? Think about this. I am the one who gave you the greater, more miraculous gift, the gift of life itself, the gift of breath in your lungs, the gift of a body that can see and hear and feel. Do you truly believe that after giving you this incomprehensible miracle of existence, that I am either unable or unwilling to provide for its basic sustenance? For me to give you the glorious gift of life, and then to neglect to provide the simple things needed to maintain it would make me a foolish and careless creator. My son spoke these words when he walked the earth, and they are for you today. He said that these basic needs, food, drink, clothing, are the very things that the pagan world, those who do not know me as their loving and personal Father, run after. Their lives are a frantic, anxious, and exhausting pursuit of these basic necessities because, in their hearts, they believe they are on their own. They believe that if they do not strive and worry, they will not survive. But you, my beloved, are different. You are not an orphan. You had a father. You have a Father in heaven who knows, intimately and in perfect detail, exactly what you need even before a single worried prayer has passed your lips. So when I command you, through the words of my Son, do not be anxious about your life, please do not hear it as a harsh and unsympathetic rebuke. It is the most loving invitation I can extend to you. It is an invitation to a radically different and better way of living. It is an invitation to step out of the frantic, exhausting, and ultimately fruitless rat race of self-reliance, and to step into the peaceful, secure, and liberating reality of being my cherished and well-cared-for child. Let your primary, all-consuming concern be me, and allow me, your all-powerful and all-loving Father, to handle your secondary concerns. This is the divine order for a life of peace. We are so close now, my child, the deepest peace is just ahead. You have been comforted and reassured, but now you must be commissioned for a new way of living. Do not honor me with your listening only to dishonor me by walking away before I give you your final instructions for lasting freedom. My heart yearns for you to receive the final keys to this unshakable life. To stop now is to leave the banquet just before the most nourishing dish is served. Stay, and let me bring you into my complete rest. We have arrived now, my child, at the very heart of the solution. This is not just a comforting thought. This is the practical, daily cure for the disease of your anxiety. So much of the fear and worry that plagues your life stems from a simple, yet profound, disorder of your priorities. Your heart is an altar, and it was created to worship. The question is not if you will worship, but what you will worship. And for too long, you have placed the wrong things upon that central altar. You are anxiously seeking and worshiping at the altar of financial security. You are bowing down at the altar of your children's success and happiness. You are sacrificing your peace at the altar of other people's approval. You are consumed with the pursuit of the kingdom of self and the righteousness of your own comfort and safety. This is the root of your turmoil. You are running yourself ragged, exhausting your soul, by worrying about all these other things, when I have told you that only one thing is truly necessary. That one thing is to seek me first. I want you to make this your life's primary, consuming passion. To seek my kingdom first means to desire my way of doing things, my rule and reign, to be the primary reality in your life, in your family, and in your world. It means that your first question in any situation is not what will make me feel secure, but what would honor my King. To seek my righteousness first means to desire my character, my goodness, my integrity, my love, to be formed and perfected in you. It means that your greatest ambition is not to be successful, but to be holy. When you make this monumental shift, when you make my agenda, my desires, and my character your primary, all-consuming focus, a divine miracle begins to happen. All of your own needs, all of the things you were so desperately worried about, begin to fall into their proper, manageable place. You stop obsessing over them because your heart and mind are now obsessed with something infinitely greater, more glorious, and more satisfying. And I have attached the most incredible and liberating promise to this command. I have promised that when you seek my kingdom and my righteousness first, all these other things, the food, the clothing, the finances, the very things that kept you awake at night, will be added to you as well. I will take care of them. It is a package deal. Worry is the bitter, inevitable fruit of a life that is centered on the tiny kingdom of self. Peace is the sweet, supernatural fruit of a life that is centered on the magnificent kingdom of me. I am inviting you today to realign your heart's greatest pursuit. Shift your focus. Stop seeking your own comfort first, and start seeking my character first. Make that shift, and I promise you, you will watch your anxieties begin to diminish and my peace begin to reign in their place. My precious child, you have been viewing your anxiety and your weakness all wrong. You see your moments of greatest anxiety as your greatest failures. In your mind, they are signs of your inadequacy, embarrassing proofs that your faith is small. You see them as obstacles that stand between you and a life of peace. But I see them entirely differently. I want you to look at these moments through my eyes. I see your moments of greatest anxiety as profound and sacred invitations to experience my greatest power. The place where your human strength completely runs out, where your plans crumble, where your self-reliance is exposed as the fragile thing it is. That is not an end. It is the holy ground where my divine strength finally has room to begin its work. You have been praying for my strength, but you have been trying to avoid the very situations where my strength is most powerfully displayed. The world you live in teaches you a damning lie. It tells you to hide your weakness at all costs. It tells you to project an image of strength, competence, and having it all together. To admit weakness is to admit defeat. But my kingdom operates on a completely opposite principle. I am calling you today to stop trying so desperately to be strong. In fact, I am inviting you to learn to boast in your weakness. I want you to acknowledge it, to name it, to bring it to me without shame or apology. For it is only when you are finally done relying on your own limited, exhaustible power that my unlimited, inexhaustible power can rest upon you and flow through you in a miraculous way. When you come to me and say, I am strong, I have this handled, you are, in effect, tying my hands. But the moment you finally surrender and whisper, I am weak, I cannot do this, I am afraid, you unleash the full force of my strength into your situation. Think of it in the most practical terms. When you feel you cannot possibly take another step in this agonizing trial, that is the moment my strength is ready to carry you. When you feel you cannot possibly forgive the person who wounded you so deeply, that is the moment my strength is ready to empower you to forgive through me. When you feel you cannot face the frightening uncertainty of tomorrow, that is the moment my strength is ready to stand in front of you as your shield. Your desperate cry of I cannot is the sacred prerequisite for my glorious declaration of I can. Admitting your inability to cope is not failure, my beloved. It is the most honest and courageous spiritual state you can be in. It is the beginning of all true miracles. So learn to be content with your weakness, with your moments of fear, with your feelings of inadequacy. For when you are weak, when you have finally come to the end of yourself, It is then, and only then, that you become truly, supernaturally strong in me. So much of your frantic energy, so much of your worry, is centered around doors, isn't it? You stand in the long hallway of your life, and you are filled with anxiety about these doors. You worry about the doors that seem permanently locked and bolted in front of you. The door to a better job, the door to financial stability, the door to a healed relationship, the door to a dream you've held in your heart for years. And you also worry about the doors of opportunity that you see others walking through, doors you fear will never, ever open for you. And so you spend your days in a state of exhausting strife. You stand in that hallway, rattling the doorknobs of closed doors, trying to pick the locks, even attempting to break them down with the force of your own will, convinced that your entire future depends on your ability to force your own way through. You have bruised your knuckles and exhausted your spirit in this futile effort. But I need you to stop, be still, and hear this unshakable, liberating truth, my child. I am the one who holds the keys. I am the one, my word says, who holds the keys of David. And what I open, no one in heaven or on earth can shut. And what I shut, no one in heaven or on earth can open. Your future is not dependent on your frantic efforts. It is not dependent on the whims of other people, on the state of the economy, or on the perceived quality of your resume. Your future is entirely dependent on the sovereign, loving will of the one who holds every single key. So I command you today, in the name of peace, to stop anxiously banging on the doors that I have clearly closed. Stop wasting your precious energy and breaking your heart over what is not for you, at least not for you right now. You must understand that a closed door in my kingdom is not a rejection of you. It is an act of my divine protection. I am the only one who knows what is on the other side of that door, and I have closed it for your good. I have closed it to shield you from a harm you cannot see, or to lovingly redirect you toward something far better that I have prepared for you down the hall. In the same way, trust me to open the right doors at precisely the right time. My timing is not your timing. You often want to rush ahead, driven by fear or comparison. But I see the whole map of your life. I know the perfect, appointed moment to swing a door wide open for you. The doors I open are always acts of my grace, leading you into the fullness of the beautiful plan I have for you. So rest. Stop your striving in the hallway of life. Walk in peace through the single door I have opened for you today. Be faithful in the room you are in right now, and trust that the one who holds all the keys has your absolute best interest at heart, and will lead you into every room that is meant for you, right on schedule. My child, you must understand that your mind is a battlefield. It is the primary territory where the war for your peace is even won or lost. What you allow to occupy the sacred space of your mind will determine whether you live in a state of anxious turmoil or a state of divine peace. You are not a passive observer in this war. You are the gatekeeper of your own mind, and you must choose to fight for your peace. For too long, you have been allowing the enemy to run rampant on this battlefield, setting up strongholds of fear and broadcasting his lies without any resistance. You must understand that worry itself is a form of meditation. It is the act of focusing your mind, repeating certain thoughts over and over, and visualizing outcomes. The problem is that you have become an expert at meditating on lies. You meditate on your fears. You meditate on your inadequacies. You meditate on worst-case scenarios. I am commanding you today to stop meditating on the enemy's propaganda and to become an expert at meditating on my truth. My word gives you a new, divine meditation list, a battle plan for taking back the territory of your mind. It says, whatever is true, this means my promises, my unchangeable character, the reality of my love for you. Whatever is noble and right, this means thoughts of integrity, acts of holiness, and the pursuit of my character. Whatever is pure and lovely, this means the beauty of my creation, the goodness you see in others, and the purity of my grace. Whatever is admirable, excellent, or praiseworthy, this means remembering my past faithfulness, celebrating the testimonies of what I have done for others, and filling your mind with worship. I command you to think about such things. This is not a passive hope that your thoughts will magically change one day. This is an active, moment-by-moment warfare for the peace of your mind. When you catch your mind beginning to meditate on a fear, you must, in the authority I have given you, seize that thought. You must challenge it at the gate of your mind. You must hold it up to the light of my word and ask, is this true? Is this noble? Is this right? And if it is not, you must refuse it entry. You must actively and intentionally replace the lie with the truth. This is a discipline, and like any spiritual or physical discipline, it requires practice and intentionality. The promise attached to this practice is this: as you do this, the God of peace will be with you. Peace is not the absence of the battle. Peace is my presence guarding you in the battle. Take control of your mind, my child. It is the command center of your soul. Fill it with my truth, and I will guard it with my peace. We have walked a long and deep path in this conversation, my precious child. We have named the enemy. We have dismantled its lies. We have armed you with the powerful truths of my character and my promises. We have laid out the battle plan for your victory. But now, we have come to the end of the journey, to the final and most important command. And that final command is not to strive harder, but to cease striving altogether. The ultimate destination of this journey is not to fight more frantically, but to finally and completely rest. The ultimate antidote to a life consumed by worry is not a better strategy, but a perfect person. It is to find your true and lasting rest in me. You have been looking for rest in all the wrong places. You have been seeking it in a perfect set of circumstances, in a clean bill of health, in a secure bank account, in the approval of other people. But those things are all shifting sand, and they will never provide the deep, soul-level rest you crave. True rest is not a place or a situation. It is a person. I am your rest. I am inviting you, with all the love in my being, to enter into that rest today. I want you to rest your mind from its frantic, endless calculations, from its obsessive need to figure everything out, and from its crippling addiction to the future. I want you to rest your soul from the weary, crushing burdens of guilt, shame, and inadequacy that you were never meant to carry. I want you to rest your heart from its desperate and exhausting search for security and worth in the temporary things of this world. And upon what foundation can you build this profound and life-altering rest? You can build it on the absolute, unshakable certainty of my unfailing love for you. My love for you, my child, is not a mood that I am in. It is not dependent on your performance. It does not increase on your good days when you feel close to me, and it does not decrease on your bad days when you feel you have failed me. My love for you is the one constant, steady, and unchangeable reality in the entire universe. It is the bedrock upon which all of creation is built. It has never failed you in the past, even when you did not see it. And I promise you, it will never fail you in the future. So let my unfailing love be the soft pillow upon which you lay your weary head tonight. Let it be the strong and unshakable foundation upon which you build your tomorrow. Stop the frantic swimming against the current of life. Let go. Allow yourself to float in the vast, safe, and buoyant ocean of my love for you. Be still, my beloved child. Stop your worrying, and simply rest. Rest in me. Now that you are entering my rest, and your spirit longs to see this peace flood the earth. You are hearing my command to send this living water to those who are dying of thirst. This is not about supporting a video. It is about deploying a rescue mission for the hearts held captive by anxiety and fear. Your gift is the manna in the wilderness for a soul that is starving for hope. It is the fire that ignites 1,000 other candles, pushing back the darkness of despair. For I tell you, whoever sows generously into my kingdom will also reap generously, for my grace will abound to you in all things. As you pour out your gift, I will pour out upon you a blessing you cannot contain and rebuke the devourer for your sake. Obey my voice. Click Super Thanks. Become a member, or use the link in the description to release your provision for my urgent mission now. My child, do not let this moment of peace simply fade away. The chains of worry are breaking as you listen, but your voice is the sound that will shatter the final link. Therefore, I command you to make your freedom known to heaven and earth. Declare with unshakable boldness for all to see, I am done worrying. Let this not be a mere comment, but your first defiant act of faith and your entry into perfect peace. Your new story begins with your declaration now. Amen. If you believe in me, your Heavenly Father, then like this video and leave a heartfelt amen in the comments. If you want to stay closer to me, then subscribe to this channel.